What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today we have, man, one of the gatekeepers of LA basketball, the founder and director of LA Premier Prep, one of the directors of, man, what else? Name all the things, because we just talked about them all, man. This is the first time I'm letting somebody introduce themselves.
Oh, wow.
You got the list.
I appreciate you, Todd. Co-creator of Air West, along with my guy, Keion. Like you said, creator and founder of LA Premier Prep, which is located in Downey, California. Been coaching over 15 years and all the semi-pro-ams and throughout Los Angeles, men and women's. So just
Drew
kinda,
League champion. We ain't gonna come. Drew League champion. He's being modest. Drew League champion, owner of CLC Training, trains a bunch of kids to the pros all over. Man, y'all know his name, Keion Kindred.
top.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna start this off with the Wall of Hoop movies, man.
Okay.
Favorite hoop movie of all time and why?
So it's easy for me. He got game. Reason being, I relate to it. I wasn't Jesus Shuttlesworth in high school, but I understood the life that he was living at that time. Just trying to figure it out with college, going through the high school, with being recruited, and the things that happen on recruiting trips, and the things that they tell you. Granted, I didn't, for the father aspect, I didn't relate to that part, but just the reality of like high school basketball for like elite players. So He Got Game has always been one of those like, I relate to that. I feel that.
100%. What about the girlfriend part? Did you relate to?
Nah, no la la's at Dominguez.
No la la's at Dominguez.
No la la's at Dominguez High School, but like I said, just the grit and grind of it. Raising a sister. I had to raise my siblings, so I just understood. I could relate to it better.
Man.
So, not that it was on the East Coast, West Coast guy, but
West Coast, all day. Absolutely, man. So we're gonna hop right into it, man. So when did you actually fall in love with basketball?
I would say I fell in love with the game at around the age of 6. Elementary school was crazy. Most people don't know this about where he was bouncing back and forth, but I went to elementary school with Jamal Crawford.
Oh, wow.
Jamal Crawford has spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, from elementary to middle school, and I think he's been back to Seattle after. But just sit on the playground and watching guys play, and that movie script part where the ball rolls to the kid, and I pick it up, and all of a sudden I couldn't put it down.
Wow.
So I just remember sitting there, and somebody told me to pass the ball back, and I did make the pass, and I just watched the art of the game, and I just literally just wanted to do that and that only.
Wow. And so where did you go from there? So you're 6 years old with the ball in your hand. Was it mostly playing at school in the park? When did you get into a more organized structure?
I think the organized part came middle school with AAU, but once I picked up that ball, it was all I wanted to do. My favorite player, which is crazy to most people that picked up the ball, was Shawn Kemp.
Oh.
I remember watching NBA on NBC for all you older guys. And I saw Gary Payton throw him a lob. He dunked and swung around the rim. That's all I want. I begged my mom to get me a basketball court so I can go in the backyard and just dunk a basketball. And that's really what I want to do that. So just with the friends, playing local, the playgrounds, the traditional way we grew up. And then middle school, bumped into a kid by the name of Antoine Parker, who became my first AAU teammate. I played with B-ball. They're located in Carson, Sam Miner. And that's when I realized, like, okay, I'm not the biggest person on the floor anymore, not the best person on the floor, but I have something to strive for. So as a sixth grader playing, back then we didn't have, 13, 14, 15.
Right.
You just had varsity and then I would assume JV. So I was playing my age group, and then once I got into high school, it was strictly varsity. And I played with SoCal All-Stars and had a great AAU run, along with arguably being the greatest high school of all time, being a point guard at Dominguez High School in Compton.
Man, that's awesome, man. I want to bring it back. Growing up in South Central LA,
Yes.
You said it so smooth. Like I picked up a ball and that's where it was. But growing up in that type of environment, especially in the time that you did, I'm sure there was other things going around in your environment. What kind of things did you see, and how did you keep your focus and let basketball lead you to different places? In your
What I
life?
saw were things no kids should see. Raised by a single mother. I'm the oldest of 5. Never met my father. Don't know his name. And I saw that a lot. But I had guys in my community, like Jason Hart, who I mentioned to you earlier, was like the person we looked up to in my era was a guy that was homegrown right then and there, like lived 2 blocks away. So all his brothers were the guys that we knew in the neighborhood, that if we were playing basketball, I played every sport, but basketball in particular, we had to follow his footprints. And they made sure that, grew up in gangs, poverty, gang violence, gun violence. My cousin was killed at the age of 15. I was supposed to be with him the night he got shot, but I had a game at St. Andrews Park. So I ended up going to my game, and like I said, basketball could literally save my life multiple times. But things like that, like I had those guys. I had Jay to lean on when I had questions about high school or college, and my community was basically like I was the next one up. So they really shielded me from a lot of what could have ended a very early life.
Man, that's amazing to have the mentors, the people in your life to fill those voids, man. I'm a spiritual person, so we always have God that is our Father,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then He sends people here to cover us. Like even for me, I had my biological father, and then I had my stepdad, and they were there, but they worked all the time. Right. So having a physical presence, those were my basketball coaches. And same thing for me is just, I grew up in the suburbs. Thank God I didn't have to deal with some of the things that people have to deal with, but those people were the ones who kind of showed me the way, showed me the route. So, right. Man, always thank God for those random people that He sends in our lives to fill voids and play roles in our overall development. So, you're a trainer now. Did you have a trainer back in the day? What did that look like? Your development. You said you had the big homies showing you the route. Were they showing you the game as well?
I mean, I don't think training back then was something that was prevalent. Like people weren't training. We learned trial by fire. I learned by going to the parks, playing against older dudes, getting fouled, people talking crazy, defending yourself. But training was something that you couldn't afford. Even if it was something that was around, you couldn't afford it. So we had to learn, the hard way. You had to get out there and experience it. I learned how to dribble by watching N1. Yep. Had all the tours go. I had my little brother go outside and try to throw the ball off his head, try to just learn it. I've always carried the ball, and everywhere I could go, I would learn to dribble, do all the moves that I saw on TV. And that's the way I grew up. And then once I got through college, then that's when kind of think the training landscape evolved to where people were really focused and working on the game. Because mind you, growing up, we didn't have gym access. We played outside a lot. Yep. So when like someone could charge you to go get in the gym, like we were both probably about to get in trouble sneaking into this gym. So I'm not gonna pay you to get us both in trouble. But that's kind of how I got into it. It was just a need for it. In my city, it was a lot of players who couldn't afford it, who didn't know what to work on. Everybody just thought it was just some general consensus on go get 1 dribble pull-ups, 2 dribble pull-ups, and that's how you improve. Like you don't even know how good you are or where you're good at. So that's kind of where my focus became as a trainer.
Man, that's awesome, man. That's the old school way. I love it. I wish more kids would do that. I think I don't know if the connection is there where we're copying N1 and they're copying like a Steph Curry. Like we feel like there may be a difference. Like, hey, you don't need to be shooting no shots, but we were doing it with the ball handling back in the day. And, so taking their imagination now and letting them kind of run with it. But now we have so much more information and access to so much more information about what works on the court. And back then, I think your attitude had a big play on the court, right? Like your demeanor and being a dog and having some mental toughness took you further than it kind of does now sometimes.
Agreed. With
the skill set that some of these kids have.
I think they're uberly talented. I don't think they're as skilled. And I don't think they know the game. Because this game's so fast. They're so much more athletic than we were, so much bigger than we were. I mean, I graduated at 6'5", 225, and there's an 8th grader that's currently my size. Yep. So it's like they're developing physically so fast, but they haven't had the chance to stop and learn the game the right way. Some of these kids haven't set yet. They haven't learned the humility of playing in front of guys or playing behind guys that are better than you. I'm watching freshmen average 40, like unrealistic when we were growing up. Yeah. Like you had to be super special to just play varsity as a freshman. Yeah. To average 30, 40 is saying a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So you say you started AAU ball in middle school. Mm-hmm. Did you just play locally? Were you guys going to Vegas, Arizona? What was the landscape like for AAU?
For AAU at that time, like I said, playing for B-ball. Sam did a great job. Again, there's some exposure nationally. We definitely went to Vegas. You played in the big time. We had a few tournaments in like Texas. We didn't go too far east, but we were local, but West Coast local. We'll go up north. We'll play in Arizona. We'll play in Vegas. We'll probably, like I said, as far as I've been at that time was at Texas.
Got you. And some of the guys you played with, did they make it? Like, what was the competition like? I know, then not everybody had an AAU team. You had to be the best in the area.
AAU was different back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't that many AAU teams. So you couldn't just tell your mom and dad, like, hey, I'm not playing on this program. Can you just go make me a team? You had maybe 7, 8 AAU programs, and they were literally the best kids in that area. So for me, you had like SCA, which is SoCal All Stars. Mm-hmm. You had Candy Bulls, you had B-Ball, you had ARC, you had 4D, you had, who else was around at the time?
You got the Cavs out in the Valley?
Well, I'm not a Valley guy, so
I don't
know if the Cavs were around.
LA County.
I'm not sure if the Cavs were around, but in LA, you had the Diamonds in the Rough, you had the Paladins. Like, it was, like I said, it wasn't a ton.
Right, you're literally naming them all.
Yeah, like I said, it was just a handful, and like you had to be really good to play on those teams. But the players that I played with, like I said, coming up were very good guys. Some after high school stopped playing, but mind you, my transition from B-ball to top prospects or VBA when I got to SCA was a different world. I didn't even realize it was that type of talent nationally. Like, there's no social media.
Right.
So I didn't really.
You just hear about people.
Yeah, you heard. You had the slam, you had the magazines, but you didn't really know like how good people were until you saw them in person. And when I started playing for SCA, it was Lord have mercy. Teammates were like Josh Childress, and of course my teammate from Tyson Chandler, and you realize, oh my God, like these dudes are really, really good at basketball. Like I was big and right size, and then I met like, hold on, bro, there's 7-footers that 240, like they jump out the gym, like, yeah, this is gonna be a long 4 years.
Yeah. So let's talk about Dominguez. What was your experience like going into high school?
It was humbling. Like I said, I was bigger than everybody growing up. So in middle school, I was the guy. On my AU teams, the guy. So now you're going into a situation which I knew nothing of Dominguez outside of Kenny Bruner. So Jay Hart would always have Kenny Bruner and Baron Davis come to our middle school horseman. We get some open runs in on Sundays. So I was able to watch those guys as I grew up. And then Kenny, I remember talking to Kenny about it, and he had told me he'd go to school in Compton. Once again, I'm shielded to LA. Mm-hmm. I don't know where Compton was. Heard about it. Wow. Never been there. Probably been through there, but it wasn't like a place as an LA kid. I'm just going to Compton. No reason to be in Compton. So went to go watch him play in the game and saw Tayshaun Prince, Jason Thomas, saw some of those players, Mike Carson, and was like, I don't know if I'm ready for high school. Like, this is gonna be tough. So ended up going on like a workout, and two of my friends and my AAU teammates, Bobby Jones and Darius Sanders, who we were playing Diamonds in the Rough with. Bobby was playing with Slam and Jam. And I just remember us going up there as like 3 8th graders going into the 9th grade, as like just to go to open gym with them, and was like, I think we all should come here, but I don't know if we're gonna play. So Bobby was 6'6", Darius like 6'7". So it's like, man, if we do it, like let's really push and like see if we can make this. Like we'll just go through this experience together. Mm-hmm. So I went to the open gym. They put us on the same team. We got out there. We lost the first game, as you'd imagine. And then our toughness kicked in. Mm-hmm. Bobby's from Compton. I'm from South Central LA. Darius is from Watts. So after that first loss, and we kind of got to feel like, don't be scared. Just go out here and play. And then we showed our true colors. Got out there and started talking mad, start bumping. Fights about to break out, but we gained their respect. Yep. As soon as we get that, like, oh man, they can play here. And once we got that respect from the players, the returners, it was like, all right, like this is something we need to do.
Man, so made varsity your freshman year.
Yes.
So very rare back in those days.
Very rare.
What was that pressure like? What was that like? Where are you in your environment, because it was basketball? You didn't recognize that, hey, this is a.
So the harsh reality of it was that I live in Los Angeles. I go to school in Compton. So for me, that's 2 buses and a train to get to school. So for people that are from, my part of the city understand this, like Dominguez colors are red, black, and gold. I live in a predominantly blue area. So days that we had games, we had to wear our sweatsuits. Sweatsuits is all red. I wore another sweatsuit on top of the red sweatsuit just to get to school. And then when I got to school, I would change out because there's no way in the world I was going to make it from my house to Compton in an all red sweatsuit. So that part was changing because I lived near all my schools. 74th Street Elementary, Horseman, all walking distance. Yeah. I really should have went to Crenshaw, but I had an issue with them during the summer with one of their best players, so I ended up going to Dominguez. But that was the hard part, just getting to school and realizing like the hoods that I got to go through, that survival of just getting to school. So once I got to school, there was no pressure. I made it to school, so the pressure is over. But once you stepped on the basketball floor, shout out to my teammates, the upperclassmen, like Marcus Moore was an unbelievable vet for me. I'm not calling him a vet in high school, but for him to be my senior, like he really took me under his wing and showed me. I had teammates that were super special. Keelan Fortune, oh my God, how good he was. Then you had the Michael McKinney's, the Ron Jacksons, the Steve Moores of the world. So talented, 1 through 10, 1 through 12 is really good. And for me, it was just a development. Just find a way to get on the floor when I could. And when I got on the floor, it was just play defense. Our whole identity was defense. So get out there, guard 94, pick up, play hard, and support your teammate. The name on the front is more important than the name on the back. And for our coaching strategy, the way he coached us at the time, Russell Otis, was, fight for your brother. So I remember, like, when you got subbed in, like, it was joy. Like, oh, man, you coming in for me? Like, here's your chance. Here's your opportunity to go have fun. Man. And then as you got older, like, I'm coming out? Like, you pout, you get down. So the culture shifted. But playing at Dominguez was arguably the greatest decision I made in life.
That's awesome, man. I got to ask about that culture, man. How did Coach instill that in you guys to have that excitement for your teammate, even when you guys were all good enough to play?
I don't know. I don't think anyone could recreate it. I've tried as a coach, and it's nearly impossible. I don't know how we did it, but we bought in. And that was the beauty of it. It's like you have 12 players, some transfers, some returners, and we're all literally want to play for each other. Like, we want to win. Whether I play 1 minute or I play the entire game, like, I want to win. We're diving on the floor. Like, we literally are holding our hat on, like, no help defense. Like, we're watching video, and I'm picking up guys at three-quarter court, and everybody's in denial. And it's like, man, trust your guys. Like, we trust you to stop that player. And that culture for us was special. My first 3 years, along with, like I said, Tyson Chandler, we went 103-9. Lost 9 games in 3 years.
Yo,
I had won three consecutive
games.
So freshman year, 35-3. Sophomore year, 40-2. Junior year, 34-4.
Yeah. Y'all played a lot of games too, man.
Well, playoffs, and we were, and we traveled, So, we didn't play our first home game until December. Like, for us, we traveled
So that's like the national, like a
national
level
schedule.
team.
We were the national schedule. So back then it was us, Modern Day, Westchester,
right,
Fairfax to some degree. Inglewood came around. Artesia was right. Artesia was there early.
Right.
I'm saying, so those were like really, really big schools.
Man, so through those 3 years, 100+ wins, playing with the pro like Tyson Chandler, man, and all the other guys that were on the team at that time, what did you recognize about somebody who was a pro that early? Like, looking back on
their level of dedication. Like, mind you, we're regular students. Come to school, go to class, go to lunch, come to basketball practice. Staying after practice back then really meant something, you know what I'm saying? Because kids wasn't just going home. Like, here it is, like I said, I got to catch a bus. Like, I'm going to catch the last bus because I want to get extra shots up with Steve, or me and Tyson want to work on lob plays, or how to pass him the ball better, or, me, Bobby, and Darius playing one-on-one.
You worked on how to pass somebody the ball better. I love it.
Post-entry is the most underrated pass in basketball because And I had the luxury. I played with the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. So I had to learn how to throw a 7-footer the ball. Like, you literally just can't throw it anywhere. You would assume so. But for him, I had to throw it to where he wanted it. I had to learn how to throw it against other athletic bigs. You know, mind you, the guys that we were playing against at that time, the Kwame's and the Eddie Curry's, like, there's other 6'10", 7-footers,
Right.
David Lee's of the world. Like, we're throwing it up there, and Tyson ain't the only person that can go get it. So I had to be able to make the right pass and get it to where he wanted, throw it to his hand, and throw a bounce pass or a pocket pass, or like when to lob it up. So we had to work on that, and and because of our relationship, I really wanted to work on it because I realized the point guard and the center position for us were the key spots when he and I got to be on the same page. So I wanted to make sure I kept him happy because I was a great defender, but I'm not the greatest defender. So somebody's gonna turn the corner, and I want to make sure that my big guy is gonna go smack it off the backboard. So it was a give and give. So if I'm sitting there getting beat on defense or we're over helping, you knew you had Tyson back there to protect you. So I wanted to make sure when I rewarded him on the other end.
Man, that's awesome. And through all those years just traveling and playing, is there any particular opponent that stood out to you or person like, dang?
So
that
the
dude was
opponent
nice.
and Steve Smith will love this is always Oak Hill. So back then, Oak Hill would be like our national rival. We played Oak Hill every year.
Okay.
Matter of fact, the event was set up for Dominguez to play Oak Hill every year. It was the Nike Extravaganza.
Yeah.
Every year we played Oak Hill.
I was there in 2000. When was Tyson's last year?
01.
01? So I was there in 2000.
So you were there for our national championship
Yeah.
at Long Beach State.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like always a great game. Like really, like and then I remember for the story I gave you my freshman year, we're playing them at Cal State Fullerton. Steve Blake, Sagata Diop, Travis Slay. They had another kid who became a pro. It was a wing. He only takes like, matter of fact, remember the guy from Air One Helicopter?
Yep.
Was on Oak Hill's team. Yeah, like Steve at that time, Oak Hill only takes 7-8 guys, like,
Right.
and all are Division I guys.
Right.
So we're warming up, and anyone that comes from my era, remember Dominguez, we had our own structured warm up, and it was like something to see. It was just the way we warmed up, and it was like a choreography. It was like a choreographed dance.
Like Remember the Titans.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a whole entrance, and people would come to watch us warm up. So we had this rule: we never watch the opponent warm up. So as you know, we're warming up, and you hear a bunch of oohs and ahs. We're not. It's not us. We're not dunking the ball. A few of us are, not everybody. But you just keep hearing all these oohs and ahs, and like that one moment, you kind of look over, Oak Hill's jumping out the gym. So you kind of watch. It's like, oh, this is about to get crazy. It's sold out. It's 2,000 people outside trying to get in, and every time we played them, it was standing room only. And they just compete. And like I said, he only has 7-8 guys. Like we're 12, 15 deep. And I remember getting in the game, I sub Marcus maybe for like a minute. Get in, I'm picking up Steve Blake, have no idea who he is. All I know is I'm from South Central LA, I go to school in Compton, and I see a white boy dribbling. I'm picking him up 94. He has no chance. I can guard him. No idea who he is.
Right.
Pick him up 94. I think I slapped the ground. I went through the whole defensive drill. I'm moving him east and west, trying to get him to turn the ball over, gets it to his offense. My young ass gets turned around, gets bumped off a screen, late close. He gets a 3. I close out late. I think I bumped him as he went down. Splash. 3-point, 4-point play.
And one.
No, it ain't the end one. Marcus gets right back up, runs to the table. And I get subbed. I head down, hardest sprint ever to the end of the bench. I did not want to look my coach in the face. Freshman, that's why freshmen don't play. I'm sitting there like, damn. Thought I could guard the white boy.
Right.
Came in, found out he's a league guy.
Right.
This kid's going to the league. But that's the reality of basketball. Like, you never know how good these guys are.
100%.
And Oak Hill always been good. So my sophomore year, we got our revenge, our redemption. We beat them here at Long Beach State when we were the number 2 team in the country. They were number 1. We beat them. We switched places. We finished our season. We were the national champions that year.
Man, yep, I remember that game. That was like my first. I was playing in middle school. That was my first year of high school, but I didn't know. I'm in Corona, Santiago High School. It's a newer high school at that, so we had some people, but Corona Centennial was the show for us. Jamal Williams,
Hey, you
Sabisma,
teammate.
all them. Yep.
I got an IE story for you.
Okay, yeah. So, but that's where I think Corona Centennial played before, and so I was like, oh, it's this game.
Yeah.
Like not even knowing what was happening, but crazy, absolutely wild, and that's man, I fell in love with that environment, and I'm like, oh man, this is a real thing. IE story.
So, out of those 9 losses that I told you about, those first 3 years, my first 3 years of high school, we didn't really lose a lot in state. So, we have 3 losses that come from schools in state. We lost to Clovis West twice,
I remember that game as
and
well.
shout out to Clovis West. Like, I don't know how they did it. They pressed the entire game. They made it very difficult. And then we lost to Upland, Sheldon Pace, Jason Harris, Kirk Snyder.
Yes.
So we're in Fresno. This is at the Clovis West tournament. We play them in the semis to go play Clovis in the championship. And I don't know what breakfast they had that morning or what they did, but they came out ready to play. Like, it was like if there was a point spread or a bet, like, we definitely had them beat by 30. Oh, they flipped the switch. They beat us by like 20 something.
Dang.
They smacked us. They beat us. And after that game, like, go in the locker room, and we all look at each other. Mind you, like I said, it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay, but it's okay to lose to Oak Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
top 5 team in the country. Like, you don't lose to Upland.
Right.
You know. So we go in that locker room, and like our whole mentality shifted. We will never lose again. Like, we're not losing any more games this season. Like, and they woke us up. Like, it was like to go in and think like, yeah, we're good because we played. We actually.
This is your sophomore year.
This is my junior year.
Junior year. So you guys have already been winning and feeling the flow. So
yeah. So it's like, yeah. So we, I mind you, we're coming off another state title, coming off a state national championships. Like that was all right, we got this. Like, this will never happen again. So that was like matter of fact, that was our 3rd loss of the year. We had 2 early losses that season. Tyson had pneumonia. We were playing in Delaware. We lost to Willow Ridge, TJ Ford, Daniel Ewing.
Oh man.
And Kenny Tyler, Ivan McFarland, loaded. Top 5 team in the country, loaded. Without Tyson, me, Bobby Darius, Samir Hernandez, Saul, Montel, we held on. We ended up losing by like 5 or something. Okay. That was actually like my coming out party. I ended up like really playing well against TJ Ford in front of every coach in America. And it was like, you know, like I said, oh God, who is this kid?
This is when your recruitment started picking up.
And it picked up greatly. Like, I destroyed TJ Ford in terms of numbers. Not
right.
Like I said, I ended up having like 17, 12, and 8 or something. And they won, but against arguably the number 1 guard in that class. So it was my coming out party. And then just recruitment just skyrocketed.
No, I think that's important. Just the piece of performance in one game can literally change the landscape. I think it changes your confidence, one, and that's what you really need with this basketball game. And 2, playing in front of the right people at the right time can, you know, spark something.
Yeah.
So being ready to play at all times is important.
I mean, you had to. Bobby, Darius, and I kind of always knew, like, Tyson's on our team. Like, why not take advantage of this? This dude's going to the league. Like, college coaches are coming anyway. It's a shot in the dark to get them, but they'll show up. And, like, why not let them remember us?
Right.
You know, like, when we played against Eddie Curry in St. Louis. Couldn't play him in Chicago. Nowhere in the world.
Right.
So,
smart.
When we played DJ Wagner, you know, so, like, when we traveled and played these guys, like, we knew they were coming to see Tyson. But we averaged 80-some points.
DeJuan Wagner?
No, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a DJ.
You said DJ, yeah.
DeJuan, DJ's father.
How many did he give y'all?
So at this time, he's averaging 58.
Yeah, I know that. I'm like
that year he scored 100 points.
Yeah.
And there's no way in the world, like, with the defenders we have, like, we're not letting this kid score that much. He finished like 36. But it was the hardest 36 of his life.
Right,
like,
that's 20 below his average.
No, but it's 36 against 4 really good defenders. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm picking up 94, and Darius has him from half court to 3-line, and Bobby 3-line to free throw, and Tyson under the free. Like, we were scheming for him, and he's still making tough shots. Like, I think their whole family is good.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, you had guys, actually Eddie Curry played well against us. Eddie Griffin was probably one of the most memorable performances. He had a triple-doubles against us. Roman Catholic came out here. They played us. They walked in. We're at Linwood. I'll never forget the game because their colors are purple and gold, which are the same colors as Linwood. But they walked in with Tim's on. They got the purple sweatsuit with Tim's on it. You know, LA dudes. It's like, no way in the world. Nah, this ain't it. He comes out, he's killing. Like, I've rarely seen people block Tyson's shot. Like, no, he was very, very good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's like making shots, getting to the rim. It's like, we couldn't do nothing with him. You look up, we're up 30. It's like, we're blowing his team out, but he's holding it down. Like, Eddie Griffin was really good.
Do you remember that it was a mixtape called Born the Ball?
Born the Ball, of course.
Yeah, man, that's where I got to see all these guys you talking about. Like, it's playing back in my head. I'm like, oh. Yeah,
like I said, Kwame, like I said, we
Yeah.
were able to just see some of the best talent, like, and really, like, go against it at a young level. So it made college easy for me. The transition for us from high school to college was simple because you played at that level. These are guys you're going to see next year.
Right.
You know, Bobby went on to Washington, then went on to the league. Darius went to Oregon. Steve went to Arizona State. Michael went to Pepperdine. Larry Johnson went to Long Beach State. Marcus Moore went to Washington State. Keith Brooks went to Washington State. Sherman Gay went to LMU. Keith Kincaid went to West Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were just loaded with talent, and like, our practices were crazy because it's 9, 10 Division I dudes just in practice.
competing.
Like, and that's where we got better at. Like, we were really trying to go at each other in practice because they were going to be better than most of our games.
Man, that's dope. And so for your recruitment, how did that pick up? What was your recruiting journey like? And where'd you
So
end
my
up?
first 2 years, Coach Otis had this thing about, I guess you would say humility. We would get no letters. So
Or you wouldn't see the letters
No,
you were
you wouldn't
getting?
get them. He just wouldn't give them to you.
Right.
So you would have them. Of course, like I said, me, Bobby, and Darius were getting recruited by everybody. We're freshmen playing at the highest level. Bobby and Darius were actually getting a lot more minutes than I was as freshmen, and then I led us to a state and national my sophomore year. So it really picked up. But you wouldn't have known because you weren't going to get the letters until you were a junior. So going into my junior year, you remember the crates that people used to put their music in the albums?
Yeah.
Just crates of letters. Just, all right, yeah, here's your junior year. Like, every school that you can imagine is recruiting you. It was like, oh, wow, I'm going through every single letter. So I get home, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm getting recruited by these schools. Oh, this is crazy. Like, you had no idea. And then you knew it was real when the letters were handwritten.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I thought I was the guy. It's like, no way in the world I'm getting handwritten letters. And, like, from these schools, you know, not even thinking about, in hindsight, like, how big of the programs were.
Right.
They were just schools in different states to me. Like, you see a letter from Kansas, like, oh, it's a school in Kansas. Like, I had no idea that's Kansas University, you know what I'm saying? So,
Man, do you think there's a method to that, though, Coach, not showing you who you're getting recruited by? Like, is that even possible today with
No, I mean, it's
the way
impossible
recruitment
today.
works?
But
But do you think that mindset that, hey, you're just grinding?
it worked for us.
Yeah.
I said it worked for us because not only are you playing on a top 5 powerhouse school against Division I talent on your own team, it's to make sure that you understand the next level. Like, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you could have arrived too early, we seeing letters as freshmen. You know, like I said, we don't know how those letters affect you. Because I may have went out there thinking I'm the man, but like I said, I'm playing 7, 8 minutes as a freshman. This letter and this time, the playing time don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
So after coming off a national championship, it's like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
And then after showcasing my ability at Nike camp and all of the other camps that were around playing AAU, they're like, all right, now I belong on this stage. Like, now where's my reward? You know.
Yeah.
So by that time, I'm 2 years older. I'm more mature. So that's why I think it made perfect sense for our program.
Yeah. All right. So recruitment. Talk about it. What happened?
After my junior year, I sprouted a little more. I went into high school at like 6'1", 200. So it seems like every year I got an inch taller and about 5 pounds of muscle. Really didn't lift weights. My mom was a disciplinary, so every time I got in trouble, I was twice her size. So every time I got in trouble, it was all push-ups.
Oh, wow.
So I was just doing push-ups every time she felt I did something wrong. I thought I was a good kid, but every time I did something wrong, I need 500 push-ups. Like, what? All right, well, I'm not about to get a whooping. So
Little Toddy,
let's go.
you have to hit some push-ups
let's
when we
go-
get home.
let's go
I'm
ahead and
about
get
let's do
these
this.
push-ups. So seems like every year I just, like I said, was physically put that weight on. So I'm like 6'3 and a half, 6'4", 215, looking like a NFL linebacker, playing a point guard. So just worked on my athleticism, and it started to show. I really was coming on my own after those years of playing with Tyson, just being a facilitator, being also a traditional point guard.
Yeah.
Really just come down, defend, get guys in sets, make sure everybody was happy. It wasn't really about the scoring aspect for me because I had enough scores. Then going into my senior year is when we had the biggest jump. Tyson graduated. We won our 3rd consecutive state title. My head coach had got into some legal issues, and we split up. So we had the 3 returners, Bobby, Darius, and myself, who were top 100 in the country, and then we had Samir Hernandez, Saul Langster, who were maybe top 200. Like they were up and coming as well. So we had what we call ourselves a Fab Five. Coming back, we would have easily been a top 5 team in the country. Easily. Like I said, we're returning 3 starters from 3 consecutive state titles and a national championship, and then 2 guys that have played a great role in the last 2 years. So we split up because Compton Unified wouldn't hire Coach Otis back. So some people were going to split. We were going to be petty, like the ultimate level of petty. Dominguez and Linwood are rivals, like real rivals. We were going to transfer to Linwood
Just so you could smack
just so we
Dominguez.
could beat Dominguez because they wouldn't bring the coach back because he was going to. Linwood said they were going to hire him, so we're all going to transfer to Linwood to play against Dominguez and win the state title for the rival. Didn't work that way. Linwood didn't hire him, so in that process we split. Bobby ended up going to Long Beach Poly. Darius ended up going to Centennial. I think Saul ended up going from Poly to Centennial. Samir went to Sarah, and then I was going to go back to Crenshaw. So mind you, I'm from that area. Yeah. So me, Marcus Williams, Onia Beckway, Kenny Beckway was going to transfer. Like they were going to be very good. I give my TJ. So we were going to be really good. I played with them in like all the summer things. We was running through the city. We ended up beating, I think, Fairfax in the championship. So everybody thought I was going to go back to Crenshaw. I ended up going back to Dominguez, playing for a new coach, Matt Calvin, and having only 2 returners from my team the previous year, Trayvon Free and a kid by the name of Jason Murdoch. And the new coach came in and was just basically, this is 2001 going into 2002, so he was on some real Kobe and Shaq stuff. Like, I want you to be Kobe and we're going to have Trayvon Free be Shaq. Like, Trayvon is like 6'7", 6'8". Okay. He's a good kid, wouldn't D1, but it's like, he's not Shaq. And I'm definitely not Kobe. Like I haven't scored enough points to even think that I'll be close to Kobe. But his mentality was he wanted me to offensively just have a free year. And that year I led the state in scoring.
Man.
Second to another IE guy. Actually, he beat me at the last 2 games, Marvin Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Marvin Lee.
So Marvin Lee's daughter is in core now. And
so Marv was really one of my good friends.
Yeah,
so me and Marv were battling our senior year. I had it 98% of the time, and then like the last 2 games of the season, he beat me like 0.2 or something.
Oh, man.
So I had an unbelievable year, unbelievable senior season.
That's the shift from being a traditional point guard to being a scoring point guard. What was that like? Or was that like, dang, I didn't know I was this good, or you had it in you?
So I knew I had it in me because I was a scorer growing up. Like I was bigger than everybody, so it was easy for me to get baskets. But the amount of pressure I would put on myself to be good at that time. Mind you, I had Tyson, Bobby, Darius. Like, I had help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could just have a bad night and just pass the ball. But now needing me to score for us to win has been, that's where it's like I can't have a night off.
Yeah.
I averaged 25-something, almost averaged triple-double, 25, 9, and 8. And the lowest I scored that year was 17, but I accumulated more losses as a senior than I did in 3 years. We finished the year like 21 and 11. Mind you, 3 years, I had only lost 9. All the teams that were like, we were smacking my freshman, sophomore, junior year, couldn't wait to schedule us. Right. Matter of fact, funny enough, this was the first year, what is now called the Trevor Ariza Classic. The Westchester tournament, that was the first year, it was my senior year. And you would have never had Westchester schedule Dominguez on the same side. Right. We would actually never play each other. Well, I mean, if they would want to play us, we would play, but we really don't play each other. We don't really play a ton of the city schools.
You'll play them at the end.
Yeah, like I said, we'll play them in something like, it'll have to be a tournament. Yeah. Because CIF and City wouldn't schedule each other. Yeah. We played the Redondos, the Artesias, the Inglewoods, the Modern Days. Like, we didn't get a chance to play a ton of city schools. But they asked us to come to the tournament. We get in the tournament. We're on the same side. We're actually scheduled to be the second round game. I'm like, oh, this is personal. Every single dude on Westchester's team is guys I grew up with. We're like, since we were kids.
This is
Hassan Adams, Bobby Brown, Brandon Heath, Keith Everidge, Shanti Cook, Brandon Bowman, Scott Cutley, Trevor Ariza. No, loaded. They won state that year. Arguably one of the best California teams of all time. Like, they were loaded. We played Pasadena in the first round, which you would think Dominguez Pasadena should be an easy game. We barely beat Pasadena. Barely beat them. We scheduled 7 o'clock against Westchester. Come out, gym is packed. It's a crazy atmosphere. I'm ready for it. We get out, we blink. We're down 30.
Whew.
You blink again, 40. They are beating the dog out of us. Like, we're getting our ass whooped. But I'm out there fighting as if, like, everything I've ever had is on the line. Mind you, me and Hassan Adams have literally known each other since the age of 6. Like, competing our entire life. You would have thought it was personal. And all of those guys, like, they would all grew up together. Like, personal. I finished the game with, like, 41 of our 56.
Oh, that's ugly.
No, we got smacked. We got smacked. But you would have not known by the way I played. Like, I was literally out there going at those dudes, and it was because we compete at that level. Like, I didn't see the score. I just saw other Division I guys that I wasn't going to let beat me out at that possession. So it kind of in my head, we laugh about it now. It's like, when I pass the ball, they become Division I defenders. When they were guarding me, they was like, all right, Keion, shoot it. Like, have fun, bro. We're not going to do this to you our senior year. But it's like, as soon as I let that ball go, they were full court press, stealing the ball, dunking the ball. I'm sitting there like, damn, like, I've never been beat by 50 in my life. Like not only the embarrassment, just the prestige of where I come from. Like, all I've ever known is Dominguez, and all we've ever done is win. Like this, like, how am I going to walk out this gym with Dominguez on my chest? Like, I went in that locker room and spazzed out.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't done. Take these jerseys off. Oh no, I was. Like I said, I can't. We created that culture that we spoke about earlier. Like, that wouldn't have happened ever last year.
Right.
I'm not saying we don't lose a game, but this
you lost.
You don't lose like this. Even when I told you about the Upland game, like, we were in there fighting. We were just got too far down and still fall back. Like, we didn't just give up. Like, 20 pluses means you gave up. 50 means you gave up. Like, it's not about none of the talent. That's just effort. Yeah. Like, you could. I would rather you flagrant foul somebody, not hurt them, but to let them know, like, all right, bro, this ain't gonna be the season. Like, y'all just letting these dudes dunk on us and laughing on us, celebrating. Like, I couldn't imagine now with the whole boom thing that they do now. Couldn't have done it back then. I would have been kicked out of games. Which a dude would shoot a three and go boom in my face. Not where I'm from. Right. We're gonna lead the team in street fights as well. But after just going through that my senior year, man, it matured me beyond my years. Like, I knew that I was ready for college. I knew physically I was ready for college, but now the mentality is I knew both spectrums of being a role guy, being a leader, and then being the best player. Yeah.
So college
is where the story changes for me. Highly recruited, highly touted, top 50 in the country, potentially every school in America. 5 visits: UConn, Oklahoma State, Michigan State, Texas, and UTEP.
No California schools.
No, so I wasn't a Pac-10 at that time. I wasn't a Pac-10 build. Like, I didn't look like Pac-10 guards.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, so back then I was SEC, ACC, like
bigger athletic.
Big 12. Like, so I was a big 6'5", 230 at this point. Like, I don't look like any point guard outside of Barron maybe, but I don't look like any guards in the country. I don't even look like a West Coast player. I was getting greatly recruited by the Midwest, East schools, Southern schools. Thought I was going to go to Oklahoma State or UConn. It felt great. I loved Eddie Sutton. Loved Coach. I just thought those were the schools. I loved it. I would have been teammates with Tony Allen at Oklahoma State. Really good dude. I thought that was going to be the thing. At UConn, it would have been MECCA Okafor, Ben Gordon, Talik Brown. Denham was Denham's last name. I want to say Anderson. Is it Denham Brown? I think Denham Brown.
Marcus would have
been in the next year. So Marcus. So loaded. I just that was just my confidence back then, because I knew the schools that were recruiting me, I could play right away as a freshman. Yeah. Talik Brown, I was not going to play over him. Like, senior guard, one of the best point guards in the country. Like, it reminded me of my freshman year with Marcus Morris. Like, I'm gonna come in and play spot minutes. So my ego at that time, like, nah, I don't know if I want to sit the benches. I go to any of these schools and start. Georgia Tech would have been me, Jared Jack, Chris Bosh. Michigan State, who would have been there? Kevin Tolbert. Kevin Tolbert would have been with me at Michigan State. Paul Davis, 6'11" white boy, pretty good. But I ended up taking my last trip to University of Texas El Paso. And that was purely out of, like, them recruiting me since the beginning. And I ended up taking 2 of my good friends with me. And I know he loves this story. So I ended up taking Onia Beckway and Ryan Hollins. So Ryan's my guy. This is like, people don't know Ryan Ryan blossomed so late in basketball,
Yes.
and he turned into be a special talent. So right around that time, Ryan wasn't even being recruited.
Right.
I'm thinking like, well, if I'm going to this school, I'm gonna take somebody that I know with me. So I told Ryan and O to come with me. Ryan's like 6'10", Oni's like 6'8". Like I'm at least have some size and forwards with me. And then I ended up getting a kid that played at St. John Bosco. Shout out to my boy Giovanni Senamont. So I was like, I'm gonna just take Cali kids. We just gonna go to like what's the movie Glory Road?
Yeah, Glory
So
Road.
I'm gonna just take all my guys. We could go in and put UTEP back on the map. So ended up loving it. Visit was cool. Had a great time. Came home and sat down with the family and my mom and kind of really wanted to figure out what I was going to do with it. And it was like, do I want to be a small fish in a big pond or the big fish in a small pond? So it wasn't like I wanted to dodge anything. It was like with what I went through my senior year being a man, it kind of felt good. So I'm like, maybe I want to stay in this area.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to just go be the man 1 or 2 years and I'm out. Like they're already talking about I could be in the, like I said, physically I belong in the NBA.
Right.
So it's like I'm not too far off. Work on my jumper, be a little more consistent at it. Like I could be a late first round pick.
Yep.
Let's just go to a school where you can be the man.
Yep.
So turn down all those schools. I commit to UTEP, and right out the gate, was getting ready. Everything sounded good, and then the associate head coach ended up leaving, Sylvie Dominguez. Ended up leaving. He was a former recruiter at SC. Then he goes, I think he went to Wyoming. Said he was leaving. He was a guy that really heavily recruited me. I had a great relationship with him. Kind of just told me some things are going to happen with the program, and then I ended up like opting out. It's like, nah, too much movement going on, so I ended up going to junior college to get out my letter of intent. So I ended up going to JUCO in Arizona, Yavapai Community College, where the head coach was the director of basketball operations at Oklahoma State. So
Wait. The head coach.
The head coach that got the job was the director of basketball operations at Oklahoma State.
So he knew who you
So
were.
no, that was already a relationship. So like,
Got it.
I didn't choose Oklahoma State. Like, and so it was amazing. I should have went there or UConn, and ended up going to play for him at the new junior college. Qualified, everything. I was only gonna be there 1 year. If I knew the rules back then, I knew now I would actually redshirt. I would have sat out.
Right.
And kept all 4.
Yeah.
So go as a freshman, turn the whole city around. I had a kid on my team, Larry Owens, who ended up going to the NBA, played Oral Roberts. We were loaded. We had some ton of talent. J.R. Reed, Jared McFarland, Mark Konechny.
You guys made the national tournament?
We did. We won our region, which was region number 1.
Hutch.
Went to Hutch twice.
Nice.
So got to Hutch, and that's where I realized junior college is not a walkthrough.
Oh, no.
No. Junior college is grown men. Yep. Junior college is real. But that was the situation. So went to our freshman year, could have went on to college. We got to the Final Four at Hutch. And then this is where I don't want to say the manipulation, but the way coaches can move players' thoughts. So, oh man, come back next year. We'll work on this.
You had offers from school?
I had every single offer. The moment I chose junior college, every single school that offered me in high school offered me in JUCO. Came back. Like, we'll take you. Like, so this is where the interesting story. So Marcus. So Marcus is at UConn. So his father, Kelly, and I said, me and Marcus grew up together. So UConn has 1 scholarship left. It's between me and some kid named Rudy Gay. So they're like, okay, we want to either bring in a combo guard so we can move Marcus to the 2, or we're going to go get this wing. Mind you, same thing, no social media. I have no idea what Rudy Gay is.
Right.
I'm sitting there going, I don't know yet. Let me figure this out. And then, of course, they signed Rudy Gay. So I go to junior college, and I get hurt. So here's the first major injury. I get hurt my sophomore year. As I come back, like within the first 2 weeks of coming back, I have a microfracture surgery. Same surgery at this time Michael Finley had, Jason Kidd, Greg Oden. You know what I'm saying? This is Jerry Stackhouse. Like, this is the injury that has put some careers down. And the science of it wasn't where it was. So I didn't know. No one's telling me. All I know is I'm tough. And they used the tough card against me. Oh, you can play through that. Go get the scope. You'll be fine. You sit out a few weeks, get back playing. I played my sophomore year at about 70%. You can see me in the game limping.
Dang.
Like, just because I was tough. My coach wanted me to be tough. Get out there. We need you. We're the top 4 team in the country. You got all these Division I bounce backs. You know. And the reality of the business is they're always looking out for themselves.
Yep.
So he was getting recruited or trying to get himself recruited. So he ended up sending a package deal with him and one of our other players, Bryson Kruger, to Arizona State. So he took the job at Arizona State and left all of us at the campus. Like, I had never saw. We went to Hutch. We lost in the second round. I never saw my JUCO coach again. We got back to campus.
No words, no nothing.
Nothing. Disappeared. Went to Arizona State. So all the college, mind you, no cell phones. This is
Whew, man.
we have no access. So college coaches
Yeah.
are calling the office. No one's answering. They're trying to recruit us, trying to get visits. No one's answering. So lucky enough, because of relationships, all my good friends that were at schools that would possibly need a point guard that knew I was available were telling their coaches and called my personal phone, which would be like your dorm room.
Right.
So shout out to Anthony Davis, head coach at Crossroads,
Yep,
AD.
AD.
So AD went to Inglewood, never lost. He never beat me, but he's one of my very, very good friends. So AD was at Austin P.
Yeah.
AD called his head coach, told his head coach to come recruit me, calls my dorm room and sets up a visit.
Wow.
So just like, oh man, Kiki come here and help. So my boy Oni did it at Long Beach State. Marcus did it at UConn. You know what I'm saying? So all my friends, one of my boys did it at Tennessee. So they were all just reaching out to like, man, my boy Key's available. Like y'all got to get in contact with him. So they were calling my dorm room so I could talk to the coaches.
Wow.
So me coming off the injury, I knew I wasn't prepared to play at the bigger conferences. I wasn't ready to go back to the Big East or SEC. So I went home. I came home to Long Beach State. Like I'm gonna just stay local, fans. I'm good here. 85% version of me is still good enough for the Big West. Like I should be able to do what I want to do here. Had a good team and great coaching staff, and injuries just derailed my career. I just could never get healthy. I was in college 6 years and only played 2.
Whoa. So you had some red shirt, medical red shirt.
Two
medical
red shirts.
And it was all knee?
All knee, same leg, right leg. So played there as a junior and then redshirted my senior year because the injuries limited me to only 14 games as a junior. So I redshirted. I remember the team doctor telling coach and telling me that I'll never play again. It's like, oh, he's done. Like this injury is too far gone because, like I said, I didn't fully rehab and heal it. So now this leg is compensating for that. So now at the the D1 level is a little more rigorous. The training, the travel, just everything, practice, weights. Knee gave out mid-season. So I'm sitting out the season, and I can say this now. I wouldn't have said it back then, but I was so caught up on just the image of how I looked to people because I was tough. Remember, I'm from South Central. I purposely failed classes to be ineligible than to let people know that I was hurt.
Dang.
I'd rather been academically ineligible than let people know that the reason I was sitting out was because I was hurt. Because I never wore sleeves or the braces. Like I never showed signs of weakness in my head. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I'd rather, and it's crazy because now looking at it in hindsight, I'd rather I'd rather you think I was stupid than injured.
That you gotta speak to that. So coming from South Central and the persona of toughness and knowing what tough really is now, why do you think that was? Because I'm sure you're not the only person who came from that area and felt that way. Why is that so important?
It's because it's your identity. It's when we walk out that door, people are testing you every single second. And I'm not saying they don't test you in the suburbs, but where I'm from is you can't show weakness. You can't show fear. Like you damn sure they can't even show doubt. Like that'll give them a reason to try you. You know, like I said, I'm already looked apart. I got braids, big body, big dude walking around. I look like something. I could be affiliated. So you got to be able to stand your ground, or they will try you. They'll rob you. They'll pull a gun out on you, knife, whatever. Like, and at some point you got to fight. You know, and that's how I grew up. So I would never show weakness. Like, I could be hurt right now. I could literally be. I'm supposed to be on crutches. I'm gonna be limping all day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna show you that these are things that give off weakness. Like I said, I eventually tore my ACL. We were supposed to wear the big brace. Yeah. I never wore the brace ever.
Still to this day?
I'm never going to wear it. I mean, I'm still not going to. Like I said, I never wore the brace ever.
Man.
And then right when tights or leggings came out for us, the 3/4, I couldn't wait to wear them. So it cover up the scars. Dang. Yeah, that was the mentality. It's like, I'm not going to ever show weakness.
Somebody who may be in that same situation now, right, in a tough neighborhood where they got to always show toughness, what advice would you give them in having the right mindset of having that balance of understanding what toughness is and the wisdom to know hey, let's rehab this knee so you could live a dream?
My advice would be smart. I wasn't. I was very smart academically. I was street smart, but I wasn't self smart. Like I wasn't. I was so worried about perception from everyone else but my own. You know, for me, it was like I don't want to feel weak in your eyes, but I'm only getting weaker because I'm not doing the things to get stronger. But as long as you think I'm tough, I'm okay. I'm sorry. It'll suffice. So I would tell that kid, don't worry about you. People are going to love you. People are going to hate you. People are going to talk about you anyway. I was raised by a Christian woman, my grandmother, who believed they talked about God. They damn sure going to talk about you. So at the end of the day, you win and lose, you know, but it doesn't matter. What matters is how you move forward. So I would tell that kid, if you know, who cares about what they think? Who cares if they feel you're tough? The toughness now is being tough enough to sit down and get healthy.
Yeah.
You know, that's like I said, you know, you hear music, it's gangster now to buy your mama a house. Like that's gangster. Like the stuff that I went through, I thought that how it should have been. No, that's a misconception. It's not the reality. Reality is I should have sat down, I should have rehabbed, forget these coaches.
Right.
Not necessarily forget my teammates because we in the grind together, but my coaches was like, oh, get out there and play because it was for you.
Yeah.
You didn't care about me.
Yeah.
You know, so at the end of the day, you got to care about you more than anybody else.
Yeah. Man, thank you for sharing that, man, and having that revelation of toughness. It's amazing. So I have to ask, 6 years of college, did you get your degree?
I did. I have 3 degrees.
Oh, look at that. All right.
I have 3
Amen. So
degrees.
you did what you were supposed to
I
do.
took full advantage. Kids, pay attention. Take full advantage of college, which is why as a prep school coach, I stress it so much.
Yeah.
Like my mom, shout out to my mother about that, like really on me about my grades. They mattered from every level. Like you could play, I could play any sport I want, do whatever I want, as long as I had good grades. So I played every sport, just stay at the house, didn't want to be under her. She didn't want to keep yelling at me. And then I just make sure, you know, that I take advantage of the academic system. And I'm not the biggest advocate of like, oh, you got to go to private schools or certain schools that have higher academic standards. That standard is you. Because last I checked, we all get the same books.
Yeah.
So if you want to put the energy and the effort towards it and reading and actually learn, research, and do your thing, then you'll gain that knowledge. I graduated from Dominguez with a 3.9 GPA. Like, yeah, oh, you went to Dominguez? No, I actually went to school. I went and looked in the books and read and took pride in the fact that I wanted to learn something. I wanted to be knowledgeable. Same thing in college. I was on the dean's list 4 years of 6. Like, well, I was the guy in college that represented the team. So, like, when they had the meetings with all the student athletes and the representative, that's me. I'm the guy with the collar shirt on, going there representing the basketball team because I have the higher GPA and I'm the one you can sit in the room and I can talk to people. I know how to talk as an athlete. Yeah. So, I ended up getting my undergrad from Long Beach in sociology, and I got my master's from the D2 that I finished out of Missouri, which is Missouri Western in Human Development.
Nice. Okay, so how long were you at Long Beach?
I was at Long Beach 2 years, playing one, redshirted, then I transferred, went to Mizzou, then transferred to Missouri Western where I tore my ACL.
Dang. Crazy.
Yeah, so.
It's crazy where basketball can take you and what you learn from it. At what point did you know that basketball wasn't in your future as far as playing?
So right after college, right after the 6th year, I come home. Like I said, only major injuries. Never really had nagging. No tweaked ankles or dislocated shoulder. I've only had major injuries. And going into that first rookie season of trying to be a pro, just trying to figure it out. Workouts, really trying to find out information about overseas. The pros were out. Had some, at that time, the D-League. Had some D-League ties with Connect, so trying to see if I can get in some workouts and move around to see like what I could do to just possibly keep the basketball journey going. And ended up waking up and one day and like knees were just bothering me. So like I said, never nagging injuries. So like, hey, let me go get this checked out. Come to find out, I'm in the rare percentage of group that no one wants to be in. I know Brandon Roy's in it. We both have degenerative cartilage disease. So where most people's cartilage, I would say possibly a little bit thinner than this rim, ours is like paper thin. So every time I run, I'm shredding it quicker and quicker and quicker. So at the age of 26, they're like, the doctor tells me, you know, you literally like, you're gonna probably need a cane or a walker if you keep playing. So I literally, Todd, I walked away from basketball at the age of 26. Like I had to quit basketball because the condition my knees would have been in later in life just wasn't worth it.
Dang.
So all I've ever known, I had to walk away from 1 year removed from college.
Dang. Dang. That's crazy.
It's life.
That's great, but you gave it your all, one, right? And though the tough mentality may have been to your own demise, I think it gave you something that you have now. Is just like, you could kind of do anything.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
anything you touch is going to be successful because you put the grind, the work in, and I think that's the important part of this mentality is that hey, something's tough happening, I'm gonna get through it, even if it means that I might not be able to walk. You walk the right way, right? But even having the wisdom to stop then as well. Not having a choice. And now, where you are now, 15 or 20 something years. Yeah, some years later, you're still connected to the game and doing more for the game than you may have planned it. And so, what was your first transition right after walking away?
So right after that, right after the injuries, I went through that. I wouldn't call it depression, but I went through some type of fog where it was the what if.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be the guy that, in the history lesson goes, what if Keion was ever healthy? What would have happened? Like I can imagine the amount of money I missed out on because of injuries. Like I said, I'm looking at it with Brandon Roy. You're looking at it plenty of athletes. Like not necessarily the guys that failed out of school, but like damn, injuries really derailed my career. And I was special. It wasn't like it was an injury that changed my game. It was like it was my game. Like I was athletic, I was strong, I was fast. Like you need this knee.
Yeah.
And it's like now my knees are completely gone. It's like I can't be the same guy. So it's not even trying to play this game. Like I can't have fun at it because I can't be competitive at it.
Right.
The next transition was trying to figure it out. It was go back to what I'm used to. From the hood, we got avenues, we got angles. Like, can I get back in the street game? That's the way, the people I was around was raised. Like, I know this angle, but I know what it leads to.
Yeah.
So what's the need of going to school all these years, get these degrees? And the flip side of education back then, Ty, was I had no work experience. So I'm overqualified for every job. I got a degree, no work. You can't work in college under a scholarship. So it's like I got the degrees, no work experience. So it's going to cost you more to train me than it is to hire the guy with a bachelor's degree. So couldn't get a job, and then just floating around the LA basketball circle with like the Drew League and the JBL at that time. I started playing just locally and bumping into guys, and at the time a good friend of mine, Roland Jones, whose wife Delisha Milne Jones played in the WNBA, was now they're coaches at Old Dominion, and he was like, let's get our own team and play in the Drew League. I'm like, cool, like, not a problem. So while we were building that team, guys were coming out here from other cities, other states, trying to get on, and I ended up bumping into a guy by the name of Sheldon Bailey. So Sheldon and I were working out at the Spectrum in Manhattan Beach, and just getting reps in, just like I said, not doing too much. So once my body was done, it was done. Like, all right, bro, I'm done. Like, I don't have to work out for a purpose. Like, I'm done.
Right.
So he started doing some things, and I just started slowly correcting him. It's like he'll do something like, nah, Shell, like, do it this way. Like, change this, change that. And then, like, those gyms, the older guys want to get on their play. I was like, well, try it against the older dudes, and they walk on. And he was still in his pro career, still playing overseas. And I guess, like, a week went by, and he kind of, like, really enjoyed the back and forth, like, trying to fix his game when I could. And he literally asked me, like, man, you ever thought about being a trainer? You're kidding me, right? Like, who trains? Like, I can give you some pointers, but I don't think that I'm about to be in the gym with you every day teaching you basketball. You're too old. Like, in my head, like, I'm not saying you can't learn new tricks, but it's like, you kind of know what you need to do. Like, you just want me to shag balls for you and just give you some motivation. But I don't think you really want me to break your game down. He's like, nah, man, like, get in the gym with me and, like, show me what you know. Mind you, all the experience I had with Tyson. So I do know some post stuff. I was a big guard. I posted up as well. So, like, all right, well, let's see how this works. And I ended up training him for like 2-3 months and helped him get back overseas.
Wow.
He told his friend at the time, they're both from Fayetteville, North Carolina, Justin Johnson, who played at Ole Miss. And Justin had just had a training company. So Justin sat down with me and broke it all down. Like, Here's what it costs, website, logo. Like if you want to train pros, kids.
What year is this now?
This has to be 2011, 10,
Okay.
11.
All right. Right when they start
Yeah,
popping with trainings.
right.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm sitting there wondering, like, man, can I pull this off in Los Angeles? Like, resume-wise, this new generation that we're in they have no idea who I am. Like, yeah, I can go train my guys, but they're playing, so they don't really need me. So went home, kind of just broke it down, put everything in front of me, pros and cons, and the name, and how I'm going to do it, where I'm going to train at, what facility, who can I go after first. And the first thing that came to me was a statement. Well, I guess you said a mantra that I developed in college. So a good friend of mine, Tahan Johnson, who played at Idaho, we were both working out for the Summer Pro League and at Long Beach State. So we were up at like 6 in the morning, and I was passing the ball. He was hitting a ton of shots, really good shooter. And one time he gave me like 4 or 5 in a row. He was like, cash. He's like, that's money. And I was like, yeah, because you're consistent at it. And then literally like one more shot, and I was like, consistency leads to currency. He stopped, looked at me, and was like, that's the sickest thing I've ever heard. That's the name of the company. I'm going to name my company CLC Basketball. Consistency leads to currency. And the currency can be whatever you want it to be, but if you're not consistent at it, you'll never get to it. Either you're consistently good at it or consistently bad. So that's where CLC came from. Then a good friend helped me create the logo. And then next thing you know, I just, took my background from growing up in the streets on how to attack the streets and just flooded the streets. So I literally was training people for $5, EBT, a meal, gas money, like whatever it was to get people in the gym. And it was mostly my peers. So all I had to do was have them tell somebody else who will tell somebody else. It wasn't about the money. I wasn't worried about the money at that point. It was, I just need people to know that it's real. So I ended up training. Shout out to my boy Terrell Hendricks, who got us Bellflower High School. He used to work there. Or at that time he was working there. And they gave me a slot from Monday to Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m.
Nice.
And
consistent gym time.
I was in there, like we were in there like pack rats. 40, 50 people.
Oh, man.
Kids, pros, girls, boys, any age group. Like,
how would you organize it?
And that's where the magic came from. It's like, I figured it out. I was obstacle course down here, something out here, something at half court. Like, it just kept people in motion. Like, and people started enjoying it. So I started getting more people. And then, of course, like I said, I'm not charging anybody. So everybody runs it free.
Yeah.
So I'm getting more and more people. So then it got to the point where it was like, oh, that's too many people.
Yeah.
So I needed a space where I can go earlier because late at night was tricky. It was in Bellflower. I live in LA. Like, mind you, I'm not making a ton of money, so gas is crazy. So I had to get closer to LA, and I had to get a clientele that I knew could make a different time slot. So I ended up connecting with my boy Jonathan Davis. We call him App. He's the head coach of Dominguez, ironically. He and I grew up together. So he works the front desk at that time the Weingart YMCA, which is about 10 minutes from my house, and where I grew up playing at the Y. So I went up there and kind of just figured out how could I maneuver this open gym. There's not a soul in here.
Oh, okay.
No one in here. All the older people there in the morning, they're not playing basketball. No one's in this gym. Is just open. So I'm trying to figure like, how can I get access to this gym? Like, I'll get a membership, and that's it. Does it bet. Like, hey, everybody want to train with me? I'm in this gym from 9 to 3. All you got to do is get a $30 a month membership. Wow. And we'll figure out like how much you pay me later, but if you can get here, then I can train you. And I ended up getting my first pro through that type of resource, which was Flip Murray.
Oh, man.
Because I was training one of his good friends that he went to college with, Cedric Luss and Lamar Gill. So they connected. Like, at that time he was still trying to get in the league, get back in the league, and the Clippers and Lakers had a workout for him. So he needed somewhere to work out in LA. They connected him to me. I ended up getting him back to the G League, then back to Memphis. And then after that, it blew up fast.
Wow. Something so
organic. It was just natural. Like, and like I said, I wasn't charging people anything.
No, I love it, man, because I don't think people understand when you give to something, it's going to give back to you, and putting that work in. Like, every trainer that I know that does this for a living and is successful at it, they had to put a time in where they were doing this for nothing, and their heart was in the right place. It wasn't like they were doing it scheming. It was like, no, just for the love of the game, for what it is.
Like
And
Todd,
then,
I just wanted guys that were in a situation similar to mine to have a way out. So that's all it was. It wasn't about, like I said, it wasn't about money. I was never from, like I said, I grew up, and no knock on people that get it, but I grew up poor. So a dollar don't mean the same thing to me as it does to you. Like, I'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what not having feels like. So it's like, I don't need much. I could drive a $200,000 car. I still know how to use the 99-cent menu. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to put something together. I know what I call as a trap. I know how to make a trap if food gets scarce. I'm saying, like, I know how to figure it out. Part of the survival instincts that we talked about earlier. So with that, I just wanted my guys that were trying to figure it out to have a voice, have someone that, like, how can you pay me money that you have to go play to get? So, like, if I help you get to the money, then we'll both make something.
right.
And that was the investment. Like, let's just put in the work, bro, and then get paid on the back end. Like, which is a risk you take. And I get on the business side of things, that may not sound right. But for me, it was like, I'm going to invest in you as a person. Like, Todd, I got you. Like, we're going to lock in 2-3 months, get you better, get you in shape, get your game where it needs to be. We're going to sit on Eurobasket.com and text and email every agent. I'm going to talk to every person I know, and Lord knows what may happen. If something happens, then we win at it. I've watched kids get $200 jobs and then end up making millions later in their career. Like the story of the Jonathan Gibson. I found Jonathan Gibson right out of college. Literally right out of college. This kid was in a pro-am or in a rec league playing with me in Bell Gardens, and he came in his entire college outfit.
Is he from LA?
He's from West Covina.
Wow.
So West Covina. I had no idea how he found the rec league, but he's in there with us. Like this, like I said, this is the old vets league. I'm saying, like, he shouldn't be dare playing in this. This is the league where I don't even cross half court. I just shoot jumpers and walk up and down. But he comes in, arm sleeve, headband, full New Mexico geared up, has all his college gear on. Kid puts up 40 points in like 3 minutes. I'm like, man, who is this kid? They tell me who he is. He told me the same situation, man. I fresh out of college, I need an agent, trying to figure it out. Took the kid under my wing. Everybody watching this knows who Jonathan Gibson is.
Yeah. Right.
Like I said, that's how it started. I let him play on my Drew League team, and then just trained him, just helped him, just mentor him. Didn't ask that boy for a dime, ever. I watched that kid go from nothing to millions of dollars. The chance to play in the NBA, like all because someone believed.
He played for Dallas for a second.
in Boston.
Yeah.
All because someone believed in him. Like, it was just a belief. That's all I gave him. I just gave him someone. Like I said, his family supports him, his wife supports him, but I was there as like, I got you. I'm your big brother in this. Like, I'm gonna protect you in this. I'm gonna walk you down these streets and let you see how it works. And I'm not gonna let anybody manipulate you like how they did me. If you hurt, sit down. Like, I got you. And he's one of many. Charles Garcia, Dominique Johnson. There's a ton. Patrick Rembert. There are tons of guys. Frank Session. You know what I'm saying? So that will tell you the story of how I've been just there for them in ways most people wasn't. And it was all because I breathed life into my players. Like, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you trash if you trash. Like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. But at the same time, I'm also the same dude that's gonna go in the gym 6 o'clock in the morning and help you fix it.
Yeah.
So that's where the training aspect really means something to me.
That's awesome, man. And I hear this idea floating in and out of this is that with the Drew League and how, something that's been around your whole life and you being a part of that and using that as a tool to help players and seeing the Drew League. You were there with the Drew League's growth when it became, a more commercialized thing. What was your experience with the Drew League overall and your relationship at the Drew League? How has it just impacted you?
So with the Drew, like I said, it's synonymous with me if you attach it. Everyone knows that I had been in the league going on almost 13, 14 years and been coaching in it, helped create Junior Drew, was kind of their global ambassador. I took the Drew overseas to the places the countries that I was training in to build the relationships, just to help their brand. And like I said, it's one and the same. My players needed that platform. I as a coach needed that platform. So we were able to just sit in those meetings and talk how to expand this beautiful hidden jewel on the east side to the entire world. And they've done a remarkable job of bringing in sponsors and continue showing the visibility of the Drew. They've done an amazing job. Shout out to Chanel Smiley and Dinos Smiley, or the Smiley family, for all they've done to help the Drew continue to blossom in our city and be, that thing that everybody knows and comes to. It gives us as coaches a platform. Like, I've put MVPs, I've brought NBA guys, I've brought international teams. One of my other teams was from Japan, that was in the Drew, which created a outreach for me because I trained in Japan. So it was special, and I hope the relationship continues as it has been for 10 plus years, to where anything, I can do to help them and the same, which helps our community. So it's been a good partnership.
Craziest performance you've seen in the Drew League?
Craziest performance in the Drew League. I watched Darrell Wright score 27 points against us in a quarter. That was insane. I was at Frank Sessions' 60-point game. That was crazy. I was in the gym both times when LeBron came.
Yeah.
I was there when KD threw off the backboard against my team. The second year, I didn't coach him that year, but the next year I got him there. But I ended up coaching that team. I was there when Lou Williams came in and hit like 11 threes, and when Bobby Brown broke the three-point record. And then I was there at Kobe's final Drew League appearance when we won the championship. So, shout out to my boy Kobe. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Talk about that, man. You actually had a relationship with Kobe,
I did.
Was in the gym with him. Just talk about how that came about and just your interactions with him. Everybody seems so impacted anytime they were in touch with him. So
the relationship was organic. In those early stages when I told you I started training, right when we skipped a step, but right when Air West was created.
Yes.
Air West was sponsored by Nike. So my relationship with Nike facilitated my relationship to get to Kobe. I would do all their training events as a trainer with all their athletes. So James Harden at the time, Kobe, Paul George, Kyrie, LeBron. So there was a Kobe shoe event where Tim Grover, his trainer, was going to be there going through a Kobe workout. So this for like the media, the influencers and whatnot. So you're going to have a day in Kobe's at Staples. We all get his shoe. So you're going to go through the day in the life of Kobe. So I was Tim's assistant that day because of my relationship with Nike. He needed assistants. I was one of them. And my guy AJ Diggs. Shout out to my boy AJ. So me and AJ.
Yeah. Whenever you're back, I need you on the show. We can talk about it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, we definitely got stories about me and AJ. I got some more for him. So me and AJ were his assistants that day, and just doing what you normally do in that setting, like be coachable, be understanding, soak up the knowledge, and then when people tell you, "Oh man, if you ever need something, call me," people don't make that phone call.
Right.
And I was almost one of those people. But at that time, still trying to grow into this training business. Why not learn from arguably the greatest trainer of all time?
Yeah.
So, swallow my pride. I actually called him. He picked up the phone. He remembered who I was, and we started talking. I started telling him my story about basketball and where I was at. And he was like, "Look, man, I'm always looking for extra help when I'm in the city." He's an older guy. He's like, to rebound the ball, put some defense, plays, be bumped, like whatever it is. I'm always need help. So, whenever I'm in the city and Cole needs to do something, like I'll give you a call. And that's what it was. 2, 3 in the morning, 4, 5 in the morning, doesn't matter. Hey man, Cole wants to get in the workout in about an hour. Could you meet me at Staples? On the way.
Right.
I'm on the way. Then I was doing his camps already. So then now they're transitioning see me now. So it's like now we're at camp in Santa Barbara. After camp's over, Cole want to get working. Hey Key, can you stay after? Yes. Get these kids. I don't need sleep. I'm right here.
Right.
Yes, I'll be right there. So started working out then, and then Grove started getting with Dwayne Wade. So he was now moving, more towards the East Coast. And Cole then and I started slowly building a friendship. Not a man of many words. So he's only going to tell you what he wants you to know. So slowly, high and buys, texts here and there, just checking in, checking on him. And then he was in LA, needed someone to come in, work, rebound, bump him a little bit, call me. I was there, and once that workout was over, then we created the friendship. Like really one of the most interesting men I've ever met in my life. Like you said, everyone that has been affiliated with him is impacted. Like unbelievable human being. Like showed me so much. He's kind of the motivation to where I do some of the things we talked about. I soon became a Mamba League's trainer and his trainer, and everything he wanted to do for anything the kids, boy and girl, like we would just bump ideas off each other, you know, and his vision for where he wanted basketball to go post his career was like right along the lines of what I was thinking. So it was a perfect marriage in terms of like I really truly loved his grit, what he brought to the game of basketball. Like now to be affiliated with that, I have to keep this going. So he motivated me to stay in it and really find the loopholes in this business.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. I think people, for us, right, you're big on this, right? If you're from LA, like actual LA, but Kobe's impact in LA because he was here for his whole career, right, made it feel like he was an LA dude, and the philosophical beliefs, like you're saying, of you giving back, and in his mind when it came to this, you know, came together to make that. Is Kobe an LA dude?
He's a Philly guy, but he represents LA. He represents what LA is about, the mama mentality, the toughness. Mind you, when we talk about that, like he played towards Achilles, walked on the floor, shot his free throws, played with a broken finger, like tore labrum, like you know what I'm saying? Like you would have never known.
Yeah.
Like he's going to get through it. So he embodies everything LA, and his approach to everything was second to none. Like I really admired, like he didn't care, which we talked about earlier, what people thought. Like I get we say it, but it's so hard to do. Like he really didn't care. Like I'm gonna sacrifice my social life, his personal life. Like he really dove right into what he wanted. I want to be the greatest basketball player of all time, and he did everything in his power to become it. And I'm biased. I believe he is, but like he did everything in his power to accomplish what he wanted.
Man, amazing, man. Thank you for sharing that. So we skipped a step, Air West. So we talked to Chris a little bit about this, but how did Air West come about, man, and that's impact and the growth of it down, man, it's amazing.
Air West was, I guess, a basketball baby Chris and I birthed. It was something that was already happening in LA. It just needed some fine tuning, and it needed like just a touch of organization. And Chris and I sat down with just the idea of like, man, how can we do something organized for players that come home from overseas or the NBA guys, where they could be in one gym and get a real run, real workout with no cameras, no people, like the raw, authentic stuff that we grew up doing. Like they could come, put their bag down, they ain't gotta worry about nobody stealing their jewelry, you know what I'm saying? Like, but come compete and not care how they look.
Yeah.
You know, how can we do this? At the time, I didn't know Chris worked at the Expo Center, which that has to be one of the best gyms in Los Angeles. For people that have never been, the Expo Center is one of the dopest gyms in LA. So overseas, it's right next to the Coliseum, and overseas, the backdrop of downtown. Beautiful gym. I didn't even know it was there. I've been in LA my whole life. I knew the Olympic pool was there. I didn't know the gym was there. But so Chris had access to it. We sitting there, we're like, cool, we got a gym. He works here. We get access. Can we get the players? He and I know everybody. He's old. He's a little bit older than me, so he has the older guys. I have the in-between guys. So it's like, well, let's get 20 dudes to come in, get a run, put some jerseys on them. Let's figure it out. Pitched the idea to Nike. They ran with it. Nike gave us the name. Air was owned by Nike, West being West Coast.
Yeah.
So that's how the name came about. And then the whole goal was once a week you just had organized private open run. Like referees, uniforms, we put a DJ. So it changed the atmosphere. Those first few years was crazy.
No cameras.
No cameras initially for media, but for us. Like we wanted to track it, you know what I'm saying, wanted to see it so we can give Nike some feedback. Shout out to Darrell Wright on that one, man. D. Wright, Trevor, Bobby Brown, Marcus Poole, like they really helped push it forward. Like it's our peers. These are guys, like I said, all these guys are guys I grew up with.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there asking your friends, man, come play with us, come hoop, like get some run in, and they tell their friends who tell their friends, and then we just started seeing faces pop in this gym. And all of a sudden, that first 2 years, Nike's like, oh, we really like it, it's good. And then it just took off. James showed up, DeMar shows up. Then we start putting the young NBA prospects against the old pro. We had Stanley Johnson and Daniel Hamilton go against James and DeMar. And then we had other people from out of state pull up. Kenneth Reed pulls up. And then all of a sudden, it's like, hold on, like this is starting to be something. So now it's like exclusive. And the whole idea behind it was not to step on the toes of the other open gyms. So we literally based it around what everyone else wasn't doing. There are no night runs, so they're all midday. We were not going to rival our boy Rico Hines. It's like, we want guys to go to Rico. We want you to go to Rico. We're just trying to give you something if you missed the Rico.
Yes.
So if Rico is 12 to 2, you flew in LA late, on Wednesday night, 6:30, 8:30, we got you. Come to Air West. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it was for. Like right before you want to go out, I think you want to get a workout in, come to Air West.
Come through.
You know what I'm saying? So once we saw the organization of it, people loved it. We had security. You know what I'm saying? It just like, it was something they trusted.
Yeah.
And then when the city trusts you, the city follows you. So then it was like, for that spring, summer, it was crazy. Overseas NBA. And then like, can we keep this going? And then once season ended, or once we got into basketball season, I don't like calling them weekend warriors, but the next tier of athletes, the guys that were playing in the rec leagues, couldn't wait for it. Social media happens. Now we create the Instagram. Now people are DMing us, hey, I want to, like, it's like you've made it if you played at Air West. Like, man, I just want to play. Can I come in? Like, putting on like little contests to win, to get a vote, to get selected. And then Nike threw us a bone with like giving us product to give back to the community. Oh, so that really changed it. Now Chris and I are like the shoe plug. Oh, you can imagine how many friends we made and lost in that time. Right. Like now, Christmas Kobe's is coming out, shoes is coming out. They giving it to us. Now we got 10 pair, and we got to randomly give them out. And we put on, dropping the Christmas Kobe tonight at Air West. It's 70 people at the gym. And it's supposed to be invite only. Only Chris and I can invite you. Now I send you the invite. You tell somebody who tells somebody. It's sold out. It's only supposed to be 30 people in the gym. It's 70 people in the gym. Everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to win the shoes. So
that's dope. I
had to learn how to kind of put on two different suits. Like, I'm still Keion, your friend, I'm a homeboy, but then I'm also Keys, the bully, the tough dude. Like, hey, bro, like, you got to go. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be an a-hole, but y'all can't be here. Like, I didn't invite you. Chris didn't invite you. Like, you have no chance of getting these shoes. But then, flip side, they'll bring us other stuff: shirts, shorts, wristbands, headbands, gift cards. You know, so we was able to just take care of the city. Like, the city backed us. And then, right as COVID hit, Chris came up with a great idea to start going towards the youth. Yeah, he really wanted to start developing the kids, and I really appreciate the idea. And so much, I created a prep school. But when Chris bought it, we started doing like middle school stuff, elementary stuff, high school stuff. Started like Air West strictly for them. Yeah. Because in the first 7-8 years, it was strictly pros. We'll sprinkle in high school kids, like just Devin Askew's and Sky Clark's, like the young guys that we know they can play there. But it wasn't meant for them. Then we did completely high school runs, and it's crazy. Chris is the historian, so he'll tell you how many of those kids went D1 or pros.
He talked about it. He talked about it.
A ton of them, but that's where that idea came from. And then once we came out of COVID, it's strictly just been a youth focus, clinic style development. Yeah. And it's been, oh my God, it's the energy is crazy. Yeah,
my kids from the valley.
Yeah.
We send them down. Takes them almost 2 hours to get there during the time they leave, but they absolutely love it, man.
You know, shout out to our trainers that have been there: San, JP, Rob, J-Mac, Trey, Angie, Brandon. All those are involved. Kelly, like who's been there to really help push what the vision is now, is to really help these kids develop. Everyone's begging us to make an AAU team, and for y'all that don't know, we have something coming up the pipeline that's going to be very dope. That's Air West affiliate. So it's moved in a direction that I'm completely.
When will it be announced? How soon?
Maybe within the next 3 months. It'll be. It's coming in 2024.
Coming in 2024. Okay.
Something special.
I was saying, because this episode won't be posted for a minute. I was like, you can let us know, and then we won't release it.
So 2024, something special with Air West is coming out.
That's dope.
So definitely by the time this drops, you guys should be ready for it. But we're doing something. We got something coming up for Air West, and you know, we're just expanding it. You know, we've done mobile clinics where we've had former pros or elite athletes come. We've had Juju Watkins, Paul Gasol. We've had BJ Boston, Frank Session. Like, we've had people come, stop, talk to the kids. Like, it provides another element. And we're moving it around: East LA, Watts, Compton, LA. So we got some things in store, man. Air West is going to be something special.
Will we ever see the pro runs come back?
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. So that's still part of the.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the summer, for the last maybe month of summer, so that July, August, we have a version of it, but we do for college and high school.
Okay.
And it's ran at the Tessaraki Budokan in downtown LA, where we do like a college, high school run where we split beautiful gym to another gym I knew nothing about.
Where is this? I don't even know.
It's in downtown Tessaraki Budokan.
Oh wow.
It's a beautiful it's 2 courts, beautiful gym. So we do that in the summer, but then we're gonna start bringing the pro run back. So it's just a timing thing.
Yep.
Like I said, you have Rico, you have the other runs. Like we don't want to. We're trying to find a day and time that it works.
You're a man of the community, man, and that's what I've always loved about you, man. From the first day, I don't even remember. I think I met you when you were training Sky,
Yes, I
maybe.
was training
Yeah,
Sky, yep.
at the shot zone.
Oh my God!
I still use that same drill sequence. Just so you know, I learned the drill sequence that day. I'm like, yo, this is it. Thank you for that.
You.
And yeah, ever since then, man, you just been whatever you need. Like it's been like that, and that's what this is about. Is just bringing us all together, man.
Right.
Like we should all be working together because this is for the kids, for the community at the end of the day. So
for me, Todd, it's always been bigger than me. My position as a player, my position as a coach, as a pillar in my community is like, we got to get out of this mindset that it's about us. It's never been about us. So when I'm on the floor as a point guard, it's to get you to assist, to help you, which helps me. Like, I don't understand why we're still stuck in this mentality of like, you got to do it alone. It's like, it costs me nothing to be here interviewing, talking to you. Like, we've talked basketball many years prior to this. So now we're just having a conversation on camera. Like, we've probably said more stuff off camera than dealing, right. But this helps you, and it's definitely going to help me. So it's mutually beneficial, but it costs me nothing to do that, to support you. And that's what we got to get better at as people in our community. We got to support each other. Like, somebody asks me to come to a game, I'll pull up to a game. But you got to reciprocate.
Yeah.
Come watch my school play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you need somebody that needs training, no problem, I'll train a kid. But if I know a kid that lives out that way, how about you take care of that kid for me? Like you said, you'll see in Aaron West, you see kids in Aaron West. In a heart's moment, if anybody says, oh, I'm a trainer, I need help in the Valley, I'm sending them to you. You know, it's just that we got to be able to bounce ideas and stick together in this business, because once the foundation is completely solid, if you watch Chris and I, like, it's exponential value on how it grows. Like, no one would have thought Aaron West would have survived 10 plus years. We're the longest running Nike program. Chris and I, like 2 non-professional athletes, 2 guys from LA. Like you said earlier, we're on the side of trains.
Right.
We're in billboards. Aaron West is like, I turned 39 and became a Nike model. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all in magazines and on websites, and you know what I'm saying? Because the idea is to do right by people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I hear you. You want to get paid and you want to make the money, but we got to make the people first. Like, you build it the right way, and then everyone benefits from it.
This is Instagram clip that, just so you know, that's beautiful, man. Like, that's what this game is about, man. So appreciate all that. I just want to hop back into how the youth focus and it turns into a prep school. When you have a thriving training business, like you didn't mention, all the people, all the pros you have trained,
that's
right? Yeah, and it's people know when they come to LA, Keion's gym is open, and that's where you get your work in. And so now turning that into a prep school, why, and man.
So the prep school idea, because you were there as the transition started to happen. So it was because of kids like Sky, Devin Askew, Bradley Azawiro, Tyler Powell. I was training a ton of young kids that I thought were really, really good high school kids. But since I'm so LA centric, like, I want us to win. I want us to be on the map. I think we deserve to be just promoted as the greatest state and city in the world. So I'll do anything to help that. And at that point in time, LA is known for having 2 of everything. And usually one of the 2 is very good. Lakers Clippers, Dodgers Angels, you know what I'm saying, Kings Ducks. Like I said, like, we're going to have one that's very, very good. We did not have a prep school in Los Angeles that rivaled prolific prep up north. We just don't. So at that time, I'm wondering, how can we put LA back on the national stage? I get it, high school has changed, the demographic has changed. Kids don't need, like the schools we mentioned earlier when I was talking about me being in high school, those schools don't even exist. Like, Dominguez is not as good as they used to be. I think Westchester, the Fairfaxes, I think like our better schools are schools that probably weren't even around when I played. I don't think Sierra Canyon was around when I played. maybe Rancho Christian. I don't remember them. You know what I'm saying? Like the Artesias, Inglewoods, like Crenshaw's a Division 5 school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no way in the world. These were big time powerhouse names. Modern Day is still around. Shout out to them. Well, not shout out to them. I hate Modern Day, but yes, it's a Dominguez rivalry. It's a Dominguez rivalry, but no, for him to sustain that, like certain schools, and that's good. I'm glad that the changing of the guard has happened, but it's like we're still not competitive on the national level where people respect us. When Dominguez traveled, when I played, you knew we were coming out there to do damage. Like we were coming to the East Coast, we were coming to the South to like beat you and let you know like Compton's not only in movies,
Right.
you know, and that's where the prep idea came from. I wanted to be like Prolific Prep or IMG or Mount Vernon, Sunrise Christian, and we sat back and I just realized, how can I do this? How can I get that type of talent that would normally leave LA to go to prep school because that's where the route is going? How can we keep that home? And that's where the idea came from. It's like, it's time to go load up all our LA talent and travel back east and just go beat them schools and smack them schools so people know LA is still, which I took a lot of flack for years ago saying it's the Mecca of basketball, but being the powerhouse state that we are.
Somebody gave you flack for
Oh, I said it many, many years ago. Right, it wasn't cool when I said it. It wasn't cool when I said it, but now everybody's okay to say it. I said it a few years ago that LA was a new Mecca of basketball and a ton of death threats, but once again, I'm from South Central LA. If I can survive LA, I can survive anywhere. But now people are starting to understand that I wasn't saying that just out of spite. Like I really believe, you know, if you look at every roster in the NBA, I think it's an LA dude on there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like shit, at one point, excuse my language, the Clippers they are the LA Clippers. The whole team is LA though.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. I want to just be dominant. You know, the Drew League's #1 pro-am. We got Sarah Kane's #1 high school. Like I just want LA to be #1 in everything.
Yeah.
Lakers winning chips, Dodgers, Kings. Like I just want LA to be just in your face all the time. So I wanted a prep school in the Southern Cal, you know, portion of it to really be dominant. And shout out to Veritas, shout out to SCA, SoCal Academy, and Travis, and the other schools that are trying. But we know we gotta do a lot. We gotta do a lot better. We gotta really get up there and see if we can crack that Geico National.
Yeah, no, that and the biggest opportunity for California is just the real estate, and where in Kansas where Sunrise is literally sitting on 10 acres on a low key farmland or a wheat farmland, and it's easy to have the houses that they own on the campus. Like this is how these other places are in California, to get that real estate, to get that school facility, and all those things, to be on that level, the resources.
Right.
And we talked about it earlier, man. Pulling those resources together to create something really special for LA, I think, is the call.
It is. It is.
You know, and you know, because everybody, we all have this big dream, but I think it's the same dream. If we put it together and we work together, I think we can achieve something like that.
And I think you're spot on. And I mean, let's go back to when that Instagram reel or clip that popped up with J.R. Smith talking about he was in a conversation with James, Russ, Kawhi, or whoever, Paul, and was like, why don't we have our own gym in LA? And I think that's where my head keeps spinning. Like, we have arguably some of the greatest players of all time, and they're making tons of money. And I'm not the person to count people's pockets, but it's like Players Edge is in IE, right?
Yep.
Why is there not one in Los Angeles?
We had it with the Hacks almost.
No, that was
right?
so just, and then they took it from us.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's when basketball in LA was at its all-time high.
Yeah.
Because you had a safe haven. You could go to the Hacks and had everything you want, weights, the lounge, you had the courts, you had the shooting guns. Like, that's where Chris and I came up with Air West. Like, we're trying to get back to, we need our own facility to where all this stuff can be housed in one location. The Drew League should be played at one location. Our prep school games or the bigger games should be played at one location. Air West should be ran at this same location. Everything needs to be just under one place where everybody know if you go to LA, that's where you're going. You go to that gym. Open runs. Rico's runs, he shouldn't have to go to UCLA. Rico can run his gym and he can have his open runs at our gym. You know, whatever gym, whatever the name we call it. But that's where my head is.
Yeah.
Where we should all be able to go to that spot. And like I said, if you want to create a game or core prep has to do something like you want to bring a camp, you want to do a camp of 3,000 kids, you don't have to go ask a high school. You can go to your gym. That's our gym. We run it. One of your NBA guys pop in town, want to get a workout in. They stay in there downtown. are in LA. Like, go to your gym. You should have access to that.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with the prep school, Air West, training, everything is just, it's community. It's like we all should come together so we can all have this. Because then at the end of the day, we all win. If we could get SCA, my school, Veritas, get these DNA, get these schools on a national level, then maybe more of our local kids will come play for us.
Yep.
My school's called LA Premier, and I may have on my high school team maybe 2 LA kids. And I created it for LA talent.
Wow.
I literally didn't want kids transferring to Arizona Compass. No, not going to Compass. Shout out to my boy P. Caffey. But it was like LA kids are leaving to go play elsewhere when they can stay at home.
Yeah.
Remember, you were there. You were with Sky. Sky left here to go play prep school in Tennessee. Like, you could have stayed home. Him and ZZ. Now ZZ's back. But, like, Billy Preston's of the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're leaving to go play at schools. Like, we should have had that here for them.
Yeah.
They should have their own prep schools here where they can stay here with their families and not travel and be ready to play at the level that we're supposed to go play against IMG and Mount Vernon, who will never, who haven't, won't say never, who haven't come west at all. The only way we can play them, we got to spend all this money to fly across the country to play them, but they won't come play us. Prolific won't play anybody that hasn't been around for over 5 years. I don't even think they've ever played in Southern California.
Wow.
So they said things like that is like, okay, well, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. I'll get Prolific to Southern California. We'll get IMG and Mount Vernon out here. Like, you just got to have the talent. And, you know, I grew up in that era where I'll initiate the challenge. It's easier now on social media. Mind you, I know some of the coaches on both staffs or any of those staffs, but I'll reach out and be like, hey, East versus West. Ain't the first time I've you know, threaded the needle with certain conversations. Like, let's see how good y'all really are. Now, I'm not ready at this juncture, but that's the game plan is to, like, as we spoke earlier about having that league. Like, we should be able, as a California team, should be able to compete at that level.
Yes, absolutely.
With all the talent we have here.
Absolutely. And so, specifically about Premier, done a great job.
Thank you.
Right? All your kids going on to play college, 100%?
Yes. 90, 98. I've had kids that quit basketball to go on to the military or go into the workforce, but all my players have graduated. All my players that I graduate go on to college.
Awesome. And this year, how you guys doing this year?
We're good. So far, National High School has done well. They had a great Tarkanian Classic. They're 10-2 currently. We went to Tark and went 3-1. Last year, we went 1-3. But the turnaround was good. So we're off to a good start. I have some kids that are really getting some Division I interest right now. So shout out to those kids for putting in that grind, man. They're working. You know, Curly will on break for a few days, and then when I come back, I'm going to kill him. You know, it's going to be a ton of running. But, you know, it's for the betterment of them. You know, it's to help them get to college and help them understand the reality of what that next step looks like.
Awesome. So what's next for you? I know finishing this prep school season, Air West continuing to go, Drew League kick back up. You still have a team in Drew League, still rolling?
Yes. So for me, the next step is just whatever LA needs, finding whatever we can do to fix it and plug it. Shout out to my women's team, my women's Drew team, and my women's professional team, Redemption. They just won their 3rd consecutive T-Wear Pro-Ams League. Then they won the Drew League Invitational in the summer. So my women's team is really good. My men's don't like to hear about it, but they're really, really good. So I've been blessed with talent. So it's whatever, getting them ready for the summer, getting my men's ready for the summer, getting the prep school kids ready for spring. Like I said, Air West, just getting those, the young ones ready for the next step, which we're going to do something, which is dope. And then for me personally, just trying to continue to figure out the landscape of how I can help these kids, man. Just kids that look like us, that come from places we come from, to give them, you know, some more hope and belief that it's not over. You know, like, it's easy to quit. Quitting is the easiest thing in the world, but fighting through it is a whole lot of fun. So I get it. I get that you may not see the light at the end of that tunnel, but you just got to keep walking towards it. So I want these kids to realize, like, you have a person that's fighting for you. Like, you have a school here. If you're looking for a situation and it's not working for you at your current high school, if you need somebody to train you, if you can't afford it, let's talk about it. You know, if you think you're not being seen enough, the visibility is low in your professional career, we have a Drew League potential shot for you. You know, like, for all the girls that think they need to make it overseas or WNBA, like, hey, I got a team for you. Like, whatever I can do to better assist those around me.
I didn't like. You literally have your hand in every space.
Every level.
And yes, every level, every space, and create opportunities through those spaces. Almost the old school way. I mean, because you built it up. Like you said, you were on Eurobasket, hitting up every team agent the organic way and hustling to where you are now, where people come to you, I'm sure, for these things.
Yes.
Open up the world of basketball for you, traveling to different countries and just being known, as one of the gatekeepers of LA basketball. And you did it against odds, right?
Yes.
Statistically speaking, right? Single parent household in South Central LA, going to school in Compton.
It's a movie. It
really, really is, man. Your documentary is gonna be crazy, man. We got to give you your flowers, man. So
appreciate you.
That's part of having you on here, man. Is just to, to the small audience that we have right now, and hopefully it becomes a big audience to, like, really celebrate you and everything that you're doing, man. So I appreciate that, and keep going.
Thank you. Thank you,
I'm
Tom.
here. Anything you need, man. I'm on the Valley side, but
it's still. I mean, you're there.
I'll get around to LA.
You're there,
man. For anything.
You're there, and it's just your voice, and I applaud you, and you've always done right by the game, bro. Like, so when I first met you, just a young guy trying to figure it out, and you've never stepped on toes, which I give you credit for, because most people come in and they try to bully their way through, and it's not natural. It's not organic, because you'll then run into somebody like me who can fight back.
Yeah.
And then why end each other's career when we can help each other blossom? So for you, it's like you're not afraid to ask those questions. You're not afraid to reach out, which I applaud you as a man first, because that's our biggest flaw. We are afraid to ask for help. And I didn't learn that until it was later in my career, but it's like, you can't do this by yourself. And that's where it's been like, the epiphany for me is like, oh man, I couldn't wait. Like, I would have never met Cole if I didn't ask Grove. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have never created the prep school if I didn't ask questions about, I talked to the coach that was at Finlay Prep. Like, I had to ask these questions, like I wouldn't be able to get sponsors to help my program if I didn't ask for money, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. To ask them, like, hey, is this something you would do? Like, just so I can venture out and see what levels or what things I need to reach in order to make this work. So just being able to reach out and ask for help is something amongst our community, especially the Black community, we got to get a little bit better at. But asking for the right thing. Don't just see me driving a nice car and all of a sudden ask me for money. Instead, ask me how you can help yourself get to these things. I used to always preface it by saying, it's a whole lot easier to be me than it is James Harden. It's a whole lot easier to be me because I can do things that are a little more tangible. He's a special talent. He's rare. So don't focus on trying to be him. Be the guys that are around him. And that's how you get to the things you want in life.
Man, thank you for that, man. Man, basketball. Ooh, man, basketball can take you on a journey.
68 countries for me.
68 countries?
68 countries.
No way.
Basketball's taking me all over the world. Literally halfway around the world.
I did not know that part.
Yeah.
68 countries. You do go and do camps?
I camps and trains and travel with my players. Yeah.
Man, I got to get my passport. So
I'm on my third.
I got I got 3 other countries so far. So I'm just starting now.
I was just in Greece. We were just in Greece this last summer. Me, AJ Diggs, Phil Handy. Yeah, we were just in Greece. And the year before, I took the Drew to Italy. So we're in Italy. So no, I travel. I want kids where we come from to see the world. Yeah. Like, no one in my family would have traveled as much as me. Like, I want to see the world.
It started with you going to Compton.
See, you just outside of LA, right? I was gonna go see outside of LA, but no, I just being able to share those experiences, like watching guys giving themselves an opportunity that they didn't think that they had. Like, I mean, that's the greatest feeling. When guys call you and say, "Man, coach, I'm about to get on this plane and go play," and I don't give a $10 it doesn't matter. The fact that you're there. I remember having kids some years ago that played in Africa. It was like, his mom called me crying. Like, I would have never thought my son would be in Africa. Just to go play basketball, but to be in Africa. Yeah. It's like, that's what I do it for. And you can keep some of the checks that I get, but it's more like hearing a kid that had no shot at playing college basketball make a Division III team or NAIA. Or then even the kids I see in D1. It's just like hearing these kids, I make a varsity team. I had a kid that's in my program who, when I first met Todd, this kid could barely walk and chew bubblegum. He plays high school varsity basketball. And it's like, every time I see him, I want to cry. Like, I remember when they said this kid couldn't walk, had some medical issues. Like, they said this kid would never do a lot of stuff. This kid is on a high school basketball, and he plays. Like
And
he's been playing. Like he's averaging like 12 points in high school. And it's like every time I see him, I just want to break, but I don't want to be all teary eyed in front of him. But it's like
cried just one time.
No, in the car. I'll do it in the car. But for him, it's like watching him, because literally that's what it was. His mom came to me, told me what the issues were, never charged her a dime. Just like, look, if you can get him to the gym, we'll work out. And I'll try my best to help him. And like, he just kept doing it, like kept running into the wall. Just, I don't know if this kid goes, but it's like, but he never gave up, so I wasn't gonna give up.
Yep.
And then when that kid played his first varsity game this year, I sat there and I almost like I said, I didn't want to cry. Because like watching him put on that uniform, run out there and play is like, that's what this is for.
100%. We're gonna move on to our next segment, the My Rushmore. Your top 4, and I got to do this. Your top 4 LA Hoopers of your generation.
So tough. That's a great question, but you're a mean person for having people answer that. That's so bad. So
not just no. This is what you have to answer. I have
a
question for everybody.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, make it worse for me. But my Mount Rushmore of Hoopers, LA.
Doesn't have any order. Just
no order. Just the top 4 that I think would give you what LA represents. Tyson Chandler has to be on there. I think one of the best bigs ever come out of our state, definitely out of our city. I'm gonna stay on my bias route. I'm gonna put Baron Davis. I'm such a big fan of BD. It's like one of the true first like big guards that I got a chance to watch, and Diddy is like really, really good. Like I really got a chance to watch him play growing up. And then I'll go more current with guys like James Harden and Russell Westbrook. I got to put them up there not only as MVPs of the league, but from the schools they came from are schools that we know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Artesian, losing, you're like, James was good in high school, but y'all didn't really know James Harden. Like y'all didn't think he was gonna be this James Harden.
Right.
So like to watch Jay go through all that and be the player he is and get the accolades he's got, arguably dies one of the greatest players ever played. So excited and happy for him, and no different than Russ. I love Russ. Crazy part, I've only met him a few times, I know his entire circle. Chris, Luzinger, Darrell, DeLon, I know his Reggie, I know his entire circle. Roy, everyone that's super close. So I've only met the dude twice, and I think he's the hardest working player I've ever seen in basketball. Yeah. I love his relentlessness, I really do. And I would tell him that in person. Like I love the way he plays the game, his approach to it. But they deserve to be up there. Like I just think that they are the past that led to the future. So those guys built these guys.
100%. So for me, I'm gonna flip and just do my IE since that's where I grew up.
It's tough.
The IE, my top 4 of my generation. We named them early. Sean Marshall.
Easily.
Sean Marshall. Haven't met him yet.
Great guy.
Man, I've seen him play live multiple times. See him do his thing with Provision.
Great guy.
Who's also actually
has to be on that list.
Rushmore's what else can you say about Darren, man? UCLA and then to the pros and
great dude.
Always doing his thing. Marvin Lee. You spoke about Marvin.
I don't think Marvin would have known that. No, yeah, Marv.
Well, no, see, I fanboyed and it was crazy. Me and Marv connected. We played with each other in some like adult leagues back in the day, and then more recently saw his daughter play at, I think it was at a Made Hoops event, and just started chopping it up with him like, yo, do you remember me? And we started chopping up, and so his daughter came over to court, so she's in our program, and man, me and Marv hit it off, and so and I had to like in the middle of the conversation, like, hey man, I just want you to know, like, I grew up watching you, dog. You are that dude, man.
Marv.
You are that dude.
Lucky lefty.
And the next one is interesting.
There's no interesting. Come on, man. Stop playing.
All right, it's Kawhi.
Okay.
So, Kawhi. So, yeah, well, I'm going to tell you why, because there's other people I grew up actually watching, right? Kawhi was after me.
Okay.
So he's a little younger than me. But it has to be Kawhi just because, hey, what he's been able to do in the league and all-star status. And, man, like you said, there's a toughness that comes from the IE as well.
It does?
Oh, yeah, man.
Okay.
I mean, you can't see it. And so we have others. Anthony Goods, Jamal
Williams,
Justin Williams. I mean, we could keep going. David Carter back in okay, so there are some people who, really set the tone for the IE. And not to talk about the ones who are there today as well. There's a toughness in the suburbs. Because most of us moved from LA. We're all LA transplants to the IE. So our parents had the mentality, instilled it in us to be tough. You talk about, hey, I played with a torn labrum. I played with a broken hand as well.
Might be the toughest light skinned dude I know.
Hey, listen, I told you, I said I'm a light skinned dude with dark skin quality.
That a boy.
So that's what we do. So next part, we're gonna flip the script. 2 questions for me. Anything in the world. Since I was mean, I'm assuming you're gonna be kind of.
No, I'm not gonna be that. I'm not gonna be that. But no, one question that I do have is, how did you start Core Prep? Like, what was the idea behind it? Because it's gotten so much traction since you first started it.
Maxie Juzang, Johnny Juzang's dad.
Oh, wow.
So I was connected with first. So the I want to say the idea was Impact Basketball. Joe Punasar. I used to rebound for him for years, and he wanted to start a prep school in LA. This is back in 2013, 14. So I built a business plan. Me and him kind of built a business plan for it, and it had some of the same concepts that Core has. And so the blueprint was there, and we decided not to move forward with the Impact because of the real estate. We were like, yeah, it's just not worth it. And so he has his own program in Vegas or whatever. And then at the same time, I was training Johnny, 360 Health Club up in Reseda. RIP, 360 is gone.
It is.
It's
Wow.
really gone, yeah. And so he was like, hey, I want Johnny to play basketball and do homeschool. And, us trainers, we don't really work during the day, or when pros aren't in town at least.
Right.
And I was like, I'll watch him. And I was like, I put this whole program. I still have the deck, the first deck. It's a Core Prep Academy. It was on a dog tag. It was like more military looking. And man, I had 8 kids sign up. And literally that's how it started. And it transitioned into this traditional style because I saw with the homeschool style with these middle school kids is different. They need to be around females and socialize. They need to be around their friends. We were in a gym in a conference room. It wasn't it, especially with them boys. And so we transitioned to have it on campus.
Okay.
And the school agreed for us to be able to go and train basketball during the elective and PE periods. And they go to the traditional setting in school. And when a parent hears that a kid who sings has choir, right? A kid who hoops has core or plays any sport at this point. And so the sport started growing. So that's how it initially came was Maxie Juzang, Melanie Frank, Taryn Frank's mom.
Wow.
Helped me like on the legal side, like make sure my paperwork was straight, my business structure was straight. Demetrius Khalid, DC was in it. RIP for him. To him, he helped me like just build the basketball side and the structure. I just had some really good parents, man, who really believed in me at that time and put it all together.
Wow. And
then the parents the big mouth parents who I love. They got loud voices in the basketball community, and they're my favorite people, man. The Kenny Clarks of the world.
Kenny.
Set the world on fire for me, man. Literally told everybody about it. Still to this day sending kids. Like literally on the phone with him last week. He's still sending kids to court because of the impact it had on his kids. And so, guys like that, man, and that's how it started.
That's dope. Because I always like to hear the ideology behind it. Like, because you just woke up like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. Like,
well, so it's interesting. So that's how it started, right? 2 years before that, guys, I'm a spiritual dude. I fasted for 21 days. Only vegetables or water and fruit. 21 days straight. And I would go into a quiet time with God and just read the word and write. I wrote down Warriors basketball, Warriors community service, Warriors performance training. All these things. And it's literally what Core is today. But this is years before 2 things. So it's based on the campus of Heritage Christian. Their mascot, the Warriors.
Yep.
But this was happening before they became the Warriors. They're the old LA Baptists. They were the Knights before. Heritage Christian Warriors didn't exist when God was giving me this vision. And so it came from God. And I look back after I started Core and I go back to this journal. Man, I'm telling you like exactly what it is. So that's where it originally actually came from. How it started is the Juzang. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
And then my second question is, but how does it feel working with like elite NBA athletes on a personality thing when you get them in a gym? Granted, you and I are both trainers, and we didn't get to the level they play at. Mm-hmm. So how did it work for you to like be able to connect to them?
Man, you said a lot actually. during our time sitting down is like, man, I kind of don't care what people think. And so when I'm in the gym, and shout out to Kelvin Truitt, man, my homeboy and my former pastor. He moved up to Sacramento now. He used to tell me, man, he said, you treat people like they're famous and treat famous people like they're normal. And I think that's carried me a long way to sit and be able to sit in rooms with guys who are play at that level. And it's amazing because as much as I'm guiding or teaching them, they're teaching me way more. And so I'm I'm a competitor. So they love me because most guys, when they go try to guard an NBA guy, they know they're going to get cooked. I don't believe for 1 second any of them dudes could score on me. So I go at them, I compete with them, and I'm not afraid to give them the knowledge that I have for this game because they're in there to get better. And what you know about most high-level guys is they want to learn. That's why they are at the level they're at. And so if you're afraid to show them or teach them, they ain't going to listen to you. They're not even going to pay attention to you.
You're right.
You know.
So it's interesting because when I've done that with pros, the reason they come back or the reason they refer me is because I tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't try to use my stature as something to like scare people, but it's like, I'm gonna tell you what you want to feel regardless of what you think. Like, if you want to take it to that level, you can lose there too. But it's like, I've looked guys dead in the face, the leading scorer in the NBA, and be like, bro, you're weak as hell. Like, your right hand's trash. Like, you suck. Like, if I was healthy, you wouldn't score on me at all. Like, so I'm like being in there bumping, hitting, like you said, the competitive nature. And then to let them know, like, all right, that's a good shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, fixing it, because I remember, like I said, with Flip being my first pro, was like, he been in the league. He's still figuring it out. Like, damn, like, what can I really tell him? And then I noticed, even though he does it quickly, he's a 2-foot shooter. Like, he jump stops everything.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, Flip, you got to 1-2 some of those. I was like, even though I get it, it's quick, you've been doing it. I was like, but if you want to really get that shot off, so you got to 1-2 some of those. And then he was like, no one ever corrected that. I was like, they not because you shoot it so well, but it's not the way you should do it.
Yep.
And then when he was making certain moves, or guys making certain, especially with Kobe, it's angles.
Yes.
And it was like, so he mastered every angle. So sitting there defending him and like trying to see if he'll catch it, like it's a mind game. Like putting your hand on his hip, turning him, see which angle he's going to swing through your arm. And that's where he flies. Like, he gets what I'm trying to do. You know, so with the Kyries of the world, the KDs, it's like they're looking for any advantage, and they're looking for guys that will help them see the advantage. So with what you're saying is true to notion, because it's like those dudes just want to get better. I don't say they don't care who it is, but as long as you can help bring value to them, then they'll keep you.
100%. That reminds me of Andrew Wiggins. So we were in the gym with him for years, and I was always guarding him. Now, he is skinny, but he's probably one of the strongest players in the NBA. I don't know what he eats or whatever, but that man's strong. And I think I had to go. I don't know. I had to go for 2 weeks. And he's like, "Yo, where you been?" I'm like, not knowing that he really cared for me being there, right? Like, Chris is leading the training. I'm there to guard and help out. And he's like, "Nah, bro. Like, you keep me accountable." Like, he needed that, and it was. This is when he was right before he goes to the Warriors, right, where he had a whole change of mindset and stuff, and it was in that moment like, oh, there's value being added because of how hard I compete and how accountable. I'm one of them dudes like, hey, no, we got to do that again. You weren't low enough. Like, let's rock. And those moments, like, just gave me the confidence to say, man, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Basketball is basketball no matter who has it in their hand. And they, like you said, they want that accountability. They're like, yo, like, where you at? And so, no, man, thank you. This has been amazing, man. You got 24-second shot clock. That's your camera right there. Let the people know where they can find you. Any message you have, anything you want to promote, man.
Keion Kindred, head coach at LA Premier. Just want to say shout out to Air West, to my people over there that's been backing us. Shout out to Todd, man. This is real beautiful what he got going over here, man. You can find me on Instagram at KEYZ0501. Everything else that you need to follow is under the bio. I don't want to be that guy. Click the link in the bio, but click the link in the bio. I'm there for it. Other than that, man, stay blessed. Stay happy holidays. Each one teach one. It's all love.
Appreciate you, my brother. All right, y'all. Thank you. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.